There we go.
Oh, hell you.
Yeah.
Podcast. I'm Odie. And this is the show. We introed so fast.
We didn't do a cold open.
The best cold open is one served hot.
There you go.
We're hot loading this.
Fucking got it.
We got so much shit to say that we had to get the intro out immediately because there wouldn't be time.
That is not true.
Do you have anything to talk about today?
Yes.
I've never had a thought.
I have things to say.
Yeah. Any of them relevant?
Ooh, that's a better question.
Ooh.
Well, we technically didn't actually intro.
No,
we
we
just
didn't.
said us.
Yeah,
we just
yeah,
said like our names.
Yeah, we didn't do the bit, so we're good.
Yeah.
That's
Saving that?
Yeah, we'll save it.
Oh, okay.
We'll still do an open.
Okay.
It's the cold open fake out.
There you go.
It's the fuck we didn't take it out of the freezer. Mom's gonna be pissed.
Oh, God damn it. So I've recently run into something that I believe you can relate to.
Okay.
That I know Brandon can relate to because he and I were texting about it actually. But I would imagine, although maybe not. I don't know if you would. I'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll have a conversation.
I would love to be able to answer your question. Like, will I relate? You know what? Viewers in chat, pause. Well, pause after this. But go down and think. Do you think Odie will relate? Lock in your answer now.
We'll find out.
Type it in and make sure to lock in your answer by clicking thumbs up and subscribe.
It's the only way to lock it in.
You got to lock in that answer.
Yeah.
That's really a thing people do. Like that's their bet is they'll be like, make sure the magician videos on Facebook. Now make sure you lock it in by putting in a like.
Well, people also love to do the joke of and if you really hate this video, make sure you smash that dislike button twice so I really know that you don't like it.
That's fucking funny.
Which actually is worse though because then that's not engagement.
Even negative engagement is engagement.
It's a thumbs down is better than nothing.
It takes a lot for me to thumbs down a video.
I don't know that I've ever thumbs down a video. Not for lack of feeling like I hated it.
There is one video called Meanwhile in 4D or in 3D or whatever, where it's like this 360 video and it's like a minute long of these guys like in alternate dimensions. And like YouTube will constantly think that like I love this video and will autoplay it all the time. And I'm like, I have thumbs down to this video. I no longer want to see this video. But when I click on report, like they're not being racist. They're not like committing crimes.
Right.
They're not breaking the TOS. I just don't like it, and YouTube doesn't care.
If you hit the little dots, you can just say, "Don't show me this again."
I don't get those dots. I've never seen those. I'm gonna have to go and look, but I don't want to go search the video because then YouTube's gonna go, "We're taking them away since you searched it, you little bitch."
Okay.
Hate
so my thing that I don't know if you'll relate to.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation that me and Brandon had, which was weird that he brought it up actually because he texted me about it out of the blue, and I had just been facing it the night before and had said nothing. I was just like living in my private truth, and then he happened to message me about the same circumstance that I had been going through that he was now going through. So basically, he was like, "Hey, have you ever had that thing where like you want to play a video game?" Well, his actually was a little bit different. He's like, you ever have that thing where like you want to play a video game, but the actual like thought of sitting down and playing through anything makes you then not want to play? Like the thought of actually like engaging with a game in that way, like you just like, you're immediately like bored and don't want to do it. Which my thing was a little bit different. So like I've found a couple channels recently that like talk about like Halo, not like from a lore perspective, but from an actual like level design perspective, and like really like drill in on particular levels from like any of the Halo games. And it's really cool. It's really informative. The guy has like, some really like thoughtful insights, which is cool to see because like I know, most of these levels like the back of my fucking hand at this point. So like, it's cool to get to watch something about it and still feel like there's fresh content to talk about because like, I didn't really think there was at this point.
It's anymore. A new aspect of it that you can like. It's like this actually is interesting to me.
Yeah,
like the whole documentary thing they did on the tentacle chase scene for Dead Space. Yeah, that's like a video that I wouldn't think I would want to watch, but it's because it doesn't slap. It's just really interesting.
It's just really interesting. So he was talking about all these Halo levels and everything, and I was like, oh my God, this makes me want to play Halo. And then when I was thinking about what Halo do I actually want to play though, like what level do I want to play, what anything, I was like, I don't like actually want to play. I was like, when I was thinking about like I get so excited at the thought of playing these games that like I love, the Halos, the Destinies of the world, all of these things. And then when the moment comes to actually sit down and play it, I'm like, right, but like I have incredible memories of this, but the actual act of going through it, just like by myself sitting here on the couch, it's not fun per se. Like it's just like, oh, it's this level that I know inside and out, and it just is like, you know, basically boring at this point, even though like I love it. Like if someone was like, do you like the level Assault on the Control Room in Halo 1? I'd be like, oh my God, yeah, it's an amazing level. And then they'd be like, how about you sit down and play it? And I'd be like, okay, yeah. And then I would boot it up and be like, I don't want to do this. I know everything that happens, and it's long and it's boring. And it's this weird
because you only like remember and romanticize like those certain parts, but it's like the drudgery we kind of like forget over.
Yeah. And it just kind of sucks because it's like thinking about that and then thinking about like, oh, there's like so many like levels and stuff in games where I'm like, oh, I would love to play that again. And then I like go to boot it up and I'm like, I really don't want to. It's actually going to be like kind of, you know, boring and something I already know and like inside and out. And like, I don't know if I even want to like it gets this weird thing of like, for what?
You almost talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, no, I do talk myself out of it. And I don't know, it gets in this weird headspace of it's like, what do I like about this so much? If I'm like, don't even want to play it, I'm like, well, I have amazing memories of it. And I'm like, do I? I'm like, I couldn't like sit down and tell you of like one like really amazing time when I played, you know, like Truth and Reconciliation on Halo 1. Yeah. But like, if you asked me like, do you like that? I'd be like, yeah, I love it. But then if you were like, well, what's like a good memory you have of it? I'd be like, I don't know. Fuck if I know. It's the same thing with like Destiny where I'm like, I fucking love Destiny. It's my favorite game.
I fucking hate it.
And people are like, well, let's play. I'm like, play what? It's all garbage.
Literally when we were playing with Kenny and I'm like, are we already done? Like you guys are already tapping out?
I was so bored already. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, I love this game, but I don't want to play it. It's so weird. It's really weird.
You got to go in with a task, and you got like so first and foremost, 100% relate. And like I've gone through many phases, in particular with games and like media in general, where in this almost weird bid internally to be as overstimulated as possible, but also understimulated. Like I need everything going on, but also I only want to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And so, very funny, oddly enough, I have been thinking about this. So historically, I tend to be someone who will like, I really enjoy like a really rich, like first person RPG, but like that like the RPG part of it doesn't matter. Like, for example, like Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I loved playing all the way through that. It was great. Inquisition was really cool. A little too micromanagey for me in an actual gameplay perspective. Like the gameplay was not as fun as all the other stuff. I
love Dragon Age Inquisition. The least fun part of it is the gameplay.
Yeah. Like
it's still good, but it's the least fun aspect of the game, in my opinion.
Well, like I had mentioned this when I was on Sin's stream, on Sin's fundraiser stream, when they interviewed me, and they were like, you know, what makes you not want to play a game? And I'm like, the game needs to be fun to play. Like the big reason why I keep coming back to Destiny, and like I have, like, you know, I'll play with like Denny and Steph. Like we'll go and like, you know, we've been doing like, you know, every other week or so, like let's do like the weekly severs and get caught up and whatnot. Because it's fun with friends, and the actual playing the game, like using abilities, shooting guns, like reloading, like you reloading. Well, like we've been playing for so long that like most guns that we use, like I know how it feels. Like I know the window for the you know, reload, cancel, and whatnot. Like the movement, like jump puzzles fucking suck, but like when you get some cool movement, like when you Titan skate, it's a vibe.
Anytime when you're like you jump in and like you're like I'm not gonna make it. Whatever it is, you're like I'm not gonna make it. I know I've played this game a million times. I know how far I can go. I'm not gonna make it, and then you make it.
You like just happen to clip the clamber box.
And you clamber out. It's like.
Meanwhile, as a warlock, you just float sadly. It's like just reach your arms out and grab it. It's like I can't.
I'm floating.
Yeah, I'm
busy.
Well, so I typically will like steamhorn like one game. I don't know where that phrase came from.
Steamhorn?
Steamhorn. Like steamroll one game at a time is what I meant. But I was thinking of like a horn on a steamroller if it had a horn, like a pole horn, like a toot toot.
Steamrollers move very slowly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to get everything. So, I'll do that. And like typically there is one game in my mind that I want to play.
Yeah.
Like I might be playing multiple at the same time, like, in rotation, whatever. But like there is one that I got my eyes on. And so, for the longest time, that's how it was. And then when I started streaming, I was playing stuff. And like, this was like a little over a year ago, back in like May. It was after like I had gotten like a lot of people. It was pretty cool. And then like I was getting too obsessed with numbers and letting that affect me. Yeah. But I was like, I don't want to play Undertale. I just want to play Dark Souls 3 because I finally got a little good. Mm-hmm. And like it is like a perfect example. I know I'm all over the place, but this is all connected. Perfect example is Dark Souls 1. Mm-hmm. I have Dark Souls 1 on the Xbox 360, so I have it backwards compatible for digital. Yeah. I've bought it also for Xbox One. I've bought it on PC. I also have the Dark Souls I didn't buy it for the Switch.
Oh, that's the only one I have it for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm a little envious, actually, because I would play
you maybe can borrow
play
it.
The Switch.
I liked it. I realized very quickly, not to diverge, but like I realized very quickly, like I love watching people play Dark Souls. Like I used to just sit there for hours while Brandon would play Dark Souls 3 and just like hang out and just like chat and like shoot the shit about the game.
They look so cool.
Like I love watching other people play it. And then when I was playing Dark Souls, so then I finally bought it for myself on the Switch because I was like, oh sure. Like back then, like there weren't really many games on the Switch. I was like grabbing for anything. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it.
Was it the remaster? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bought that for 360 or for my Xbox as well.
Yeah, and I tried it and like I was actually like pretty good at it. Like I wasn't like struggling too hard. I mean, like I think 1 isn't as hard as some of the others as well. But like
if your intro is like 3, the problem with playing any game later in the series is that you're working on better engines. It's cleaner. Like you play Elden Ring first. Good luck playing Dark Souls 1. To be blunt, like because that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those fairly unique instances of a game where it was like, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I'm definitely not bad at it. I'm not like really struggling. I was like, but I'm also like, I don't really love it. I'm like, I don't really love playing it. Like, I like the world's cool. I like watching other people play it, but I was like, it's just not a game that I'm really enjoying playing. Kind of like how I felt with Metroid Dread. Well, actually, I wasn't very good at Metroid Dread. That was a different thing.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, I was like, I'm not bad at this. I was like, I'm just not really enjoying it. I would rather just watch someone play it.
That's what hurts. Where it's like, I love a game, but I can't play it. And like Dark Souls 1, like I eventually want to push through and finish it. Like Dark Souls 2, I actually played a metric shit ton of. I got like Nashandra and then technically the King, but like the King is an optional boss before him. He's just a big dude who walks in a circle.
Throw that ass.
But I somehow can't fucking beat him because, thugs.
You understand.
Yeah, you understand. But like they're really fun games, and it's like you realize like because I remember watching Man vs. Game. This was like when I first started getting like into Twitch, like watching streams and stuff, speedrunning. Like it was before Dark Souls 3 had come out because it was when right around when Taken King came out in the eviction and my Xbox. I didn't legally get evicted. Right. I moved out.
You moved out.
Yeah.
James got
evicted. But like I remember like watching him play and he was like on New Game Plus 7 and like whatnot. But it's like, fuck, this game seems so cool. And like, because when you watch people who are good at Dark Souls games, which a lot of that is you can be that good because it takes learning. Like you will fail and get a little bit further, which is why like, one of the most fun things to do, like the most fun I had in Elden Ring was after finally beating the game, doing New Game Plus, because now I'm grossly overpowered for like the first half of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all these dudes who gave me so much fun, all these bullies who made fun of me, they're not laughing anymore.
Get your fucking comeuppance.
God damn it. I'm comeuppance because I'm coming down with the hammer. But all of that to say that like that feeling of like really enjoying a game, getting hyped about a game, and then actually like following through with it. I think a big part of that is that like for me, it is really hard to be externally hyped to then start the game. Whereas if I've somehow already started the game and then am watching stuff, it just fuels the fire. Like Diablo 3. Like I probably put more hours in Diablo 3 than you and Brandon did.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is crazy to think about because
well, I didn't play Diablo 3 much because I didn't really.
we played through like the story, but like as someone like for
I've
me
put more
who
into
didn't
Diablo
like
2 than
Yeah.
I would like to even think about because oh my god,
yeah,
I spent most of my childhood playing that game. But yeah, 3. Yeah, no, you definitely played more 3 than
and
I
like a lot of that was just because like I could play with a controller. It was a lot more fun and like streamlined. Which as someone who didn't like, I owned Diablo 2, but like I didn't. I played it because. You guys had a lot of nostalgia for it and enjoy it, so it's like I want to like be there, but like it doesn't hit the full same.
Yeah, it's not for everybody,
and that's okay.
It's like I don't like Factorio.
Oh yeah,
like Brandon and Taylor both love Factorio, and like I do actually.
I can watch it, but I'll be on my phone.
Yeah, I like watching them play it, not like with rapt attention, but like I'll sit there and like be doing stuff while they're doing that because it's cool to like check in and like look at it. But like Brandon was like, I think you'll really like this, and I tried it, and I was like, I certainly do not.
I bought Factorio and I played it once, and I'm like, I do not like management games like that.
I enjoy watching both of them play RimWorld, and they were like, you have to play RimWorld, you have to try it. And so I was like, okay, fine. And I tried it, and like, I looked at RimWorld as like, I have a goal, and that is to, because the game technically has a goal. It's like Minecraft in the sense that like there is an end if you want there to be. But like for a lot of people, it's more of like just like survive and like just build as good as you can.
Your goal is whatever you in the moment you need.
Yeah, but there is like an end state of like you're trying to like get back into space. And so I was like, well, if that's the goal, that's what I'm gonna do. So that was how I played the game. Was I basically just like burned through it to like get it done, and I did. And I was like, I enjoyed that. Like it was a good time, but I was like, I don't want to play again. Yeah. But I like watching them play it. So that's weird. It's different.
It's that it's just it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Where you like you wanted to. And so like once I'm interested in something and then it's like, okay, well now I'm thinking about it because I'm not able to play it at the moment. And I'm like, what do I need for this? And it's like, oh, I'm going to plan out like, can I efficiently do some side quests? Like, and I'm like Googling it and I'm like, and then, Google's then like, oh, we'll feed you articles and updates on shit. And it's very fun and good. But I was already starting to play the game.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to like even recently where I'm like, fuck man, like there's games I want to play, like, I stream, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Twitch. And like lately the last few weeks, I've had like a rough schedule for like the last, like through all of June, for the most part. And like still continuing on. I haven't posted it. I need to, but, like we've been doing like Near Replicant, which has been, that is currently the game in my head of like, this is what I want to play. Mm-hmm. And I was actually working on it because technically, although we finished Route B, it's again doing the story again, but please get all the weapons. And once you do, you get an extra scene to get the C ending with E being the final one. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'll just do all of this off stream. Except as I'm playing it, there's a little mini like not a real cutscene, but like there's Devila and Popola talking about how like, yeah, like we've been working on it. Like we need the Shadow Lord to do this. And it's like, I don't know why these replicants are doing this. And it's like, oh, this is like with all of the context of everything we've been, because it's like you play through the game, then now that you've played through the game, there's a big realization towards the end and you're like, Jesus fuck. You go to play it again through the Route B, through learning more about Kaine's story. And it's like she who has a shade demon thing on her arm, which they're humans, blah, blah, blah. Like she can understand what all the shades are saying because she's half shade with the thing that's like in her body, basically. Mm-hmm. And so we get to hear that like all the shades are human souls that have just been like twisted and they're just trying to find shells, bodies. And like, oh, this one that you kill, this little like one that's like controlling a robot, like they're best friends. That's just a scared kid. And like, yeah, it makes you question humanity, but that's why these games are so good and it's so much fun. But it's like, now I'm like, well, fuck man, I want to play this. But also like, since there are these little tidbits that are more interesting, I'm like, kind of do I just push through it so that we can just kind of see the next ending and keep going? Mm-hmm. Or do I not push through it or do I like wait to do it for stream, but then like it's going to be another like 2 or 3 more streams still till we're done with it. And so I was actually thinking possibly today, it's Tuesday, but like maybe doing like a bonus stream today of like, I want to keep playing, so maybe we'll do this. Mm-hmm. Who knows? But like I want to do that. I've been playing Undertale, that finished. Cuphead DLC just came out, so I want to do that since I did Cuphead on stream. But I'm like, some really cool games that I've been playing that are like I started playing. Like, you ever get that when you're bored and like nothing seems good, especially like post binge boredom is tough. Like you went and like rewatched a show that you've watched before, and you like watched all of it from start to finish. You binged it, and then it's like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Right. Now what will fill that section of my life?
It's like 2 days of just agonizing boredom, which makes no sense, but it's like almost because of like an overload, or just like, I went through this journey. This has been my life for the last 4 days as I've been watching all of it. And it's like really great that we have the ability to do that. But that is kind of the drawback, is it's like you kind of like overclock, and then you have to recover. And, you know, I've been wanting to like, I'm like, I don't really play games in my free time really, except like I just don't really make the time for them. Like I do a lot of dicking around, I realized, where like I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of mindlessly like, yeah, I'm on the computer, but it's the same as just dicking around on my phone. And so like, I'll be excited. Like, I want to go back and like, play Sekiro. That's one that I've been really wanting to do. I have quite a few games like on my PlayStation. I want to play Persona 5. I have like, I want to make like my poops and whatnot. Like, and I want to do these things, and it's like, I just never have like the motivation to do it, or like, it's always exciting to think about doing something when you can't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't last until you're done with the thing and you can go do it.
Yeah.
And if you try to start doing it before you're finished, then you just kind of double fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know what the solution to it. The solution might just be that like, you got to treat it like it's work, and like schedule it and be like, okay, I'm going to do this at this time, at like on this day at this time, I'm doing it. Yeah. And then now it's like, okay, cool. Because I know like with your content, for example, like, you know, you're on like a relatively like solid like cycle. Not that you're like churning out like it's mass production-esque, but like you found a good system, a good routine. I like asked you about this a couple weeks ago. And like, you're just like, yeah, well, like now it's just routine. But at first it was because it was fun. But ultimately it's like, well, people are expecting it, you know, on these days. And granted, there's a little bit of leeway as a person. But like, that tends to be the motivator, is there's you have created a situation where there is a deadline that most of the time isn't an issue. But that is like that like external motivator that's not solely like intrinsic. And so I don't really know exactly what to do. I think I'm going to try that though, because like I tried the scheduling thing and it's worked out great. Everyone's enjoyed it. But like part of that too is like, okay, well then I need to just make some real decisions, and maybe it's as dumb as like writing them down of like, okay, am I going to hem and haw about, do I want to make this a recorded playthrough game? Do I want to do this on stream, or do I just want to fucking play it?
Right.
And like make a decision and just fucking like be done with it. Because I think a lot of it is that because it's all in our heads, and this is more like can be extrapolated for other stuff, and then we can intro, is like when it's all in our heads and we don't have it written down anywhere, we're always working on that list without ever like seeing it all at once. Versus stopping, I need to put up one of my whiteboards in my office specifically for this kind of stuff, so I can go, okay, boom, what games am I currently playing? Here's, you know, stream, recording, or, you know, fun. And it's like, put it where it needs to be. If it's going to go streaming, okay, then we can work on that list, this list, that list. And like, same thing with just like tasks that you got to do in general, like a to-do list. Odie creates the to-do list, a new idea. But like, I feel like even like with ideas, like I'm sure with your content, right, with all like, especially when you got like a lot of stories going on, you have a rough idea, but you know, there's only 8 or 9 videos, right, in a month, maybe.
Yeah, there's 9 in a month.
But 8 to 11, depending on the month, not counting any special things that you want to do if you end up doing them. Yeah. Like, and you've got how many characters?
That's a difficult question.
They're not all getting in a video in 1 month unless it's inversion.
Oh, absolutely not. No, not even close.
But like, so it's like, well, how do you manage that? And I know you said you do use your calendar.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do that without it, or no? It wouldn't be as like cohesive.
I could, but like in the past when I didn't focus as much on like, so like now with the channel, I've tried to be more mindful of the fact that I'm like, you know, like we joke about it on like on me and my community like joke about on like streams and stuff and everything of like, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, like one character like Ollie or whatever, they're like, he went, you realize he went like 9 months without a video, right? And I was like, no, I didn't realize.
Oh, fuck.
Because in the past, I just like, because it's a balancing act. It's like, I have stories I want to tell that like, you know, I have, well, there's not stories I want to tell and stories I don't, but there's like, there are stories that are very narrative based and it's like, you know,
they take a bit more brain power than boyfriend videos. Well,
it's not even that concern.
I know that's derivative, but that's not my intent.
No, it's fine, but like that side of it though isn't even more of the concern. More of the concern of it is that it's like I have like some lore heavy stuff that like there is a sizable portion of my audience that is not insignificant that cares a lot about it, but like they don't do particularly well. They don't do badly. I mean, like we're not like there's still like, you know, well into 5-figure views, so like it's not nothing. But
like that close-knit audio, like Welcome to Close-Knit featuring me, which is a great video, and you guys should view it more so that I don't feel bad when I go looking at your videos from views highest to lowest. Just saying.
That one's in a lore-heavy series, like, and so
it's also not fun. Like that, like
right.
It was fun for us to do, but I'm like, I hate this.
Right. There are videos where it's like you only really need to watch it once, like, and that's kind of one of them. It's like you're watching it for like the lore and for the immersion, but it's like. People go back to, you know, like the comfort audios, or they go back to like the smutty audios for different reasons.
It's all comfort, baby.
But yeah.
Fortnite, we're about to get.
But yeah, it's a balancing act.
Chug and next audio.
But it's a balancing act. If it's like, you know, like I have stuff that is like lore heavy that it's not going to do as well, and so it's like, you know, in a perfectly equal world or whatever, where it was like there was just a rotation, yeah, each of those would be getting a video every single month or whatever. That's not reality. Like that's not how like the channel, that's not what the channel needs. Because like while I'm, you know, doing this for a number of reasons, also like I want the channel to like continue to grow and be successful and reach new audiences so that there can be new people to like appreciate all of these things and everything. So you know, there has to be those videos that like I know will actually get views. Yeah. And I enjoy making those as well. I love making a classic, you know, like boyfriend comfort audio. Like if I didn't like making it, I wouldn't make it. But you got to have it in balance. So that's why like you end up with, you know, I have to sort of like parse it out of it's like, yeah, you're not going to get a lore heavy video every other video. It's like you're going to get more David audios than you're going to get Avier audios. That's just reality. Like it's not a, you know, but all of that to say, I wanted to become more cognizant of like not letting so many stories go so long without an update. So I had to, like a couple months ago, I had to kind of like be like, okay, what do I need to do to like make this work better? So I got like way more into actually like using my calendar to break out like, okay, like let's literally like place these audios so I can get like a visualization of like where is everybody. And I made like a spreadsheet where like I enter the latest date of a video of that character, and then I'm always sorting it like, you know, highest to low to get an idea of like, okay, who has it been the longest of? And then of that list, like that does not decide the order, but it affects it. It's like, okay, so like
you have a higher chance of making
one that hasn't been around for a while.
Dude who's only been in 3 videos and is kind of a side character, and it's like, yeah, he's gonna weigh more, but also there's not really a use for him. It's more of a side character than anything. Yeah,
I had to implement systems for myself to get a better like idea of like, okay, so this way like a character's not gonna go, you know, like 8 months without an update, you know, like accidentally. Like it just helps me like keep everything in order better. And that was like a big change of like, okay, yeah, like I flew by the seat of my pants for a long time and then would tend to like make up for it with like surges of content of like, oh, I'm going to do like, you know, the Hot Boy Winter or whatever. And so then it's like, I literally made, what was it? Like 13 videos back to back, 13 videos released over the course of 8 days or something. So it was like, or 9 days. I don't know. It was a lot. And so it was like, okay, I burned myself out. I was like, I can't keep doing it that way. So I was like, I need to just be smarter about it from the start. So I kind of got rid of that concept. Not to say that I'll never go back to it for like special events or something, but like in general, I got rid of the whole like back-to-back uploads for like a week kind of a concept that like I had sort of like leaned on to like make up ground.
Well, because didn't you also like for Hot Boy Summer this year, you just said this month.
It's the month.
It's the month. So it's like it's the same schedule uploads, but they're all going to be spicy.
Yeah. And I had done a similar thing with
it's like the lore is taking a summer vacation.
Yeah. And there's still little tidbits in there. You're still getting characterization for sure.
Because you can't like dive headfirst into like a grand overworld story either.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is that like even in these characters
We're
that
still
are
post arc. Sorry. Post the big inversion arc too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is kind of like the come down from it.
Yeah, Hot Boy Summer was kind of the show of like, because it had been, it's, you know, in universe and in real life, it's been 6 months at this point. So it was like, that was kind of the show of like, it's not to say that everything is all better, because it's not by any means for these characters, but like we're reaching a point where like they're now having more good days than bad. So it's like, so we're going to have this little sequence of like, we get to see each of them be like,
so you
getting
can ruin
back normal.
it soon.
No, but like you get to see them be like happier again, because like most of them have been like down, but it's like recovery, while it's not linear, you know, like they are on the upswing. And so we're going to see like the high points and some lows.
Although it may
still,
not be the high, like the best for like, you know, average Joe Schmo or Joan Schmo, being more reticent of your audience, Joan Schmo of like attorney at law.
They Schmo.
They he, she, they Schmo.
Jojon they Schmo.
Jojon Schmo is you know, like, oh, like why is it like so sad? It's like, well, I know like you and I have talked a lot, like, and I don't know how much of this like has been like fully like realized in that sense with like community and all of that, but like, and how much you actually followed through with any of it, because I know a lot of times it's like not like you're like bouncing ideas off of me, but like it's saying them out loud, and you know, you see things differently and whatnot. But like it is also very realistic that it's like, no, dude, something traumatic fucking happens, and like it's terrible. Like, why would you write that? It's like, but like it is showing that like this is growing, this is something cool, and it's like, you know, a little bit of like put some trust in me, like, no, like we are going to knock them down, but it's not to knock them down to be like mean, but rather because there's a lot of interesting stories that you can show with like, to show, you know, for all you know, someone like can resonate with a character and like their arc of like getting back to normal that they could transpose. Like we do that all the time. We have shit like in media, whether it be print, video, digital, audio, whatever, like that we put our own feelings into. I cried during Undertale, and it had nothing to do with like the characters. It was like my own. It
was how it got.
I'm like, oh, this seems a little analogous to something in my life, and I'm going to cry now.
Yeah. Well, if from my perspective, like there are so many channels out there that just make, you know, fairly like surface level comfort stuff, and that's great because like a lot of people need that. So like I'm really glad that like those things existed. I've leaned on those in the past. Like I'm glad that those are there.
But they're derivative, they're trash, and you should delete your channel.
They're boring
flops.
and they're tropey. No, but like
you've heard it here, folks. He's coming for you.
No, like I appreciate those channels so much for like being that, but like that was never the goal of my channel. And like I like making content like that, but that's just part of the mix. I like to make a lot of different stuff, and I think that like you also
get those subs up.
And I also think that like, you know, in the same way of like you can have a comfort audio that's very like fluffy. I think there are a lot, and you know, it's sort of been shown through like the comments and the engagement and everything that like people also take comfort in seeing people recovering from something like inversion, like, and showing that like that's not always easy for everybody. People like part of the whole thing of like the aftershock thing that came right after inversion.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah. Part of like the aftershock thing was to show that like not everyone reacts to, you know, all of these people can go through the same traumatic event, but they react to it differently. Like everyone's recovery through like something like that, just like of grief in general, is very different. And so like that was sort of an opportunity to show like, you know, like I would imagine that someone who watched all of those videos, each of those videos, like they could probably resonate with at least like one of the characters in the way that they reacted to something bad happening to them. Maybe not the actual bad thing that happened, because like a lot of us have not been through something that big, but like we've all been through a lot of fucking shit, and like we've all recovered from that in different ways. And I think there's a lot of value in like seeing, you know, that sort of thing represented, and you can find a comfort in that, even though like the audio itself on the face of it is like maybe kind of angsty. It's like, but you see that they get out of it, or like even if you haven't gotten that far to the part where like they're out of it, you get to just like see someone else going through it, and like to have that like experience validated in that way of like, I'm not the only one who has like felt like X, Y, and Z, and like, you know, like in response to something bad. Like that alone helps, because it feels like less isolating, I think, because that's how I have felt about other like media things, where it's like, even if you don't see like, you know, the magical recovery part of it, you know, magical not in terms of like actual in-universe magic, but just like flip a switch and like, oh, you know, like we're good.
Hey,
like,
let's go back. Here's another Prey video.
Right. Just like the act of seeing someone else struggling in the way that you might have, that can feel very validating. So yeah, it's not a knock in any way to like normal comfort channels, but like mine was never for that. Yeah. I've always liked having a mix, but I also think the pendulum swung a little bit far in terms of like inversion and everything. Like it was serious, and I wanted to like give it its due and its time. And
you did kind of didn't you write yourself into a little bit of a time constraint? Because you did want to do it by the end of the year.
Bad time constraint.
Well, you made the merch. You fucked up. Never making that mistake again.
Literally. I like that. Yeah,
that was literally, I'm pretty sure that's like, at least to me, it felt like that was the true reason.
That was part of it. Was because I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I literally, like, I've said in a million different ways that like this happens in 2021. There's merch that says it took place in 2021. Meanwhile, nothing on my channel is like bound to the date it comes out. Like, to say that like a video,
it's the only time you ever did it, and it bit you in the ass.
Right, like if a video comes out, you know, like on May 10th, that doesn't mean the video took place on May 10th. But in my head, I was like, but this one, it's got to be. So I was like, I have to do this right. And so then, yeah,
new year, new me, traumatized.
Totally painted myself into a corner on that, which was not helped by the fact that I was like, instead of having one Halloween video, or even like last year when I had 5 Halloween videos, I'm going to have a Halloween month where that's taking place in an alternate universe.
Imperium, right?
Yes. So every single plot line is put on hold for a month. And then guess what? It's November and you have 2 months left. And I was like,
you got a lot of work to do.
And I had already promised Hot Boy Winter. And I was like,
you were very busy last year.
It's a very busy time.
I mean, it paid off, and I think you learned a lot, because like,
I learned a lot.
The amount of times that we've been on the phone and you're like, I'm actually like ahead on scripts. I'm like, do you think you're going to maintain it? And you're like, absolutely not.
No, never.
But it is nice.
It feels great when it happens. It feels good.
I think it's also a bit of like learning to forgive yourself for not doing it. Like, I think that we tend to set our own expectations too high, which it doesn't mean that like we can't do those things, but it circles all back to like the same shit I always say of like, and mostly so that I eventually will hear it, is like, set smaller goals, because that's how you build self-confidence. If you think you can do it and you're like, no, I'm pretty sure I could do it, then just do it, because you'd be genuinely surprised about how good it makes you feel. And it's like, it doesn't get as hard. It's like, now that you've done that, you're like, yeah, no, Hot by Summer, that's just the summer. And you could even make it make sense by like having the whole month be that, you know that going in, you don't need to prep necessarily, but then because you would know that for next year, for example, if you choose to do it the same way, you can kind of put everything either like on like cliffhangers up to that point, or kind of taper things to be like, okay, that's the season end. This is the 4 episode OVA. And then the new season for like the other half of the year starts, or for the next year. Yeah.
I figured out in about like February, or what I'd say, because that was kind of, because it was right around Valentine's Day was when I kind of had like the come to Jesus moment.
I just pictured
like,
us,
I can't do this,
in Hot Boy Winter, of like you and I in like cool color, like different colors, but like stylized correctly, like the hype color, like us on like a really snowy, busy like city street sort of thing, where there's like a bunch of shops and we both got our hot cocoa and both like a little cold while we're waiting for a taxi. It was a nice thought.
If February was kind of the moment when I was like, oh, like I'm burnt the fuck out, because like I had done the qualifiers, Imperium, Game Day, Hot Boy Winter, Inversion, immediately went into Aftershock, and then I was like, I can't. I'm tired. I'm burnt the fuck out. It's been 4 or 5 months of like back to back to back. My entire regular schedule plus every single month had some kind of
not factoring in like
release.
The move, like
and my move, and just
like
real life
podcast, life
holidays. Like that's like its own thing.
Holidays, June.
Am I right?
I took the Pride Day away on my chat. I was like, guys, it's July 1st. I'm taking away the Pride Egg. And they're like, what? No. And I changed it instead of the rainbow egg Odie to just an egg Odie that shakes violently. And I'm like, y'all can rage like that. I'm done profiting off of the gays for this month. Corpo Pride Odie back at it again.
Oh my god. Yeah, but
they know I love them. The support. Whatever.
You love their money.
Yeah. It's also funny because on July 1st I did get Chick-fil-A. Which was unintentional, but I did piss myself almost because I was just like, I'm taking the Pride Egg away. I had Chick-fil-A. I'm a
it's
monster.
over. Pride Month is over.
You've had enough.
Yeah, but the first year of the channel, I did a Valen Week thing where it was like for Valentine's Day, I did a week long of content that was all like flashback stuff, like that culminated on Valentine's Day, and I had planned to do that again this year. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do it, and I had just done all of that shit I just said, and so then I was like, no.
We talked about this when we went to the Lego store.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that. So I ended up just making one video. And then I was like, I still want to make those kinds of videos. I was like, I can just let that be the rest of the month.
Yeah.
So I just turned the rest of technically the next month into like the spring back event. But rather than it being, a week of back-to-back shit, it was like, I can just, if there's 6 episodes or whatever, that can take 3 weeks, and that's okay. And that worked well, and it was like such a relief in terms of like it had a good response, and also like it just made me feel good to like be able to parse it out properly. So then that sort of set the stage for like, okay, now I know that like that's how I want to do Hot Boy Summer. How do I get there? What do I need to do? So then it was like, okay, what plots all need to line up, because I know everything's gonna get put on hold for a month.
But this is exactly it. You know that going in.
Plan for it. And so it was like, it wasn't a rush. It was like, okay, cool. I just know that like I have to get an update to the balance. I have to get an update to Aviar. I have to do like,
I have like 4 or 5 that I really like. These are the top priority to get the next video out, because it's going to put them in, like, I already left them on a cliffhanger of sorts, or like, like we don't need full resolution, but like we're almost like, where's the next part of that? Boom.
Yeah.
So then you can have a guilt-free Hot Boy Summer and just enjoy the Hot Boys.
Just have a good time, which I did. And now we're back into, normal scheduled content. But yeah, it's amazing what a difference adequate planning makes.
Yeah.
Just in all aspects of life.
It's hard.
Yeah. It is not without its own kind of effort.
And I think even just from hearing what you said, it was for you even of like, it wasn't all at once that you just had it figured out. It's very much of...
No. It's iterative.
Focus on one problem at a time. Like, what is the current most pressing problem? What can I do to fix it? I don't have enough time. Well, how do you get more time?
You break into the office and you get the time turner.
Hello.
And welcome
to the 43-minute in
Hell Yeah
podcast. He's your host, Eric.
And he's your host, Odie.
And we can't host. That was so stupid. Welcome to a podcast where it's just 2 guys being dudes.
Welcome aboard.
It's like your 2 dumbass friends in the basement talking about random shit.
Talking about video games instead of playing them.
Yeah. I'm talking to them. I ain't playing them. Have you played this? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I've tried.
Someone's like, do you want to play this new game? I'm like, are you kidding me? You want me to try something new? I can't be bothered.
Ninja Gaiden Sigma, technically is what it's called for us Sigma males. Was originally like on the Xbox, and I remember it being called just Ninja Gaiden. I think the Sigma is like a remaster. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Is this like the original, like the really old one?
No. Like it's 3D. It was on like Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, not like the.
I thought you meant like N64 Ninja Gaiden. I was like,
no. It was like you're like Ryu and everything, and like you go through the whole like tutorial level, and there's like a boss with like nunchucks.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I could never beat the nunchuck guy because you need to block.
Oh. Yeah.
And I don't like games that like I should just be able to dodge because I don't want to block. I'm not a coward.
I hate blocks and counters.
I literally removed in Nier. You can like you have 4, the triggers and the buttons. Like and like your sword attacks are always like X and Y, and so you can have like your different like skills, like your magic spells and whatnot, and you can have dodge and evade.
Yeah.
I immediately got rid of or block and evade.
Yeah.
Got rid of block. No.
Just roll.
I don't care if I get better bonuses if I have block on, and I don't use any of those other slots.
Right.
Like I don't use any of those other spells. I'm using one spell, maybe 2, and that's all I want. And I'm like, I'm dodge rolling for the speed. I roll hit, and it's like I don't want to fucking block. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want to have more power or do you want guard break? And I'm like, guard break is stupid. And then I'm like, now I'm fighting things where they're very heavily armored, and I'm like, guard break is nice, but I don't like it, and I don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fuck blocking, dude. It sucks.
I hate it.
But it was so hard. As a kid, that all I would do is like I'd get up to that part because it's like a decent level of like a tutorial, like fighting lots of like little encounters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just turn off the Xbox and turn it back on and just play that. And on the day of Sin's fundraiser, it was actually
on the day of this, my daughter's quinceañera.
My daughter's quinceañera, yeah. Was where I like had like saw that it was on Game Pass, the Sigma one, and I downloaded it and I'm like, it is the same one.
Yeah.
It took me 3 tries to beat the dude because you need to block. Like it finally instilled in me that like it is important. Yeah. But it kind of slapped, and then I got to a new area and I'm like, I got fireballs now. I have no idea how to use them. I don't like this, and I haven't played it since. Yeah. Although Trek to Yomi, that's cool. That's a very interesting game. You play it's like a ancient Japan. Mm-hmm. You play like a young samurai kid who's like training under this like old dude, and you're friends with his daughter. Classic. Village gets attacked, but it's like all black and white, and it's like kind of isometric a little bit, like more like a Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
If you like when you're in Midgard, like I know you've probably seen it. Played, where it's like there's like a setting. There is only so many places you can go to, but like you're just kind of like walking along the frame. It's like a framed thing, as opposed to being camera focused on the character. Mm-hmm. But it's very fun, and like it's weird how the game works. Like because like the whole opening part of the game is like you fight the one dude at the end and everyone's like slaughtered and shit, and it's like we got to be better, and like there may be demons, I don't know yet. I'm curious to play. I've really liked it so far, but like it's like okay, yeah, you can guard, and like if you guard and you'll see a little flash and you'll hear a sound, like that's to counter attack.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're never gonna see me swinging this fucking sword if it's not a counter. I'm like, you should not have introduced it, but it's not always perfect, and like movement, like it surprisingly has schooled me in the right ways, where that's a game where I'm like itching to play again because it's fun to play where you like I know I can do things like nothing flashy. I've never seen gameplay of it, so like it's only my own discovery. But like a game that makes you feel good discovering and mastering mechanics, I think makes a huge difference too in terms of like motivation. This is like that forbidden episode or the lost episode where we talked about like games and stuff
at length.
I'm really sad that one was muted. Out of all of them, like you could have muted some of the others,
right? Yeah. With like, my thing is that it's like I don't really fully understand my aversion to experiencing new games because I'm like,
sorry, I'm making thirst traps. I'll just have to write down the timestamp so I can make the thirst traps.
When I like. Because like I'll start a new game, and if I love the game, like I will put everything into that game.
Yeah,
like
Inquisition was like
I played Inquisition. I very quickly fell in love with it, and I just every single day I would come home from work, and it was like I'm gonna eat some dinner, and then it's Inquisition time, baby.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I just play it. And I just played it for days and days and days on end. I put in hundreds of hours in that game because I just was having an amazing time and I loved it. And the game ended, and I was very sad because it was over.
But don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Same thing happened to me with Prey, although it took far less long. Like I distinctly remember there was a Black Friday.
I gotta like write this down in my notes.
I
gotta play Moon Crash.
very good.
There's always time to do things. Like, I don't ever use my Note app, so I got to go around it.
There was a Black Friday deal where they were like, hey, there's like all these like Xbox One games are on sale. And I was like, okay, sick. And this was quite a few years ago. And so I literally just kind of went down the list, and I had just like, I had gotten some extra money. I can't remember why, but like I had some cash, and I was like, I really want to get some new games. And that mood does not strike often. So when it does, I was like, I'm going to do it. So I bought Prey. I bought Inquisition. I bought Assassin's Creed Origins. That's the Egypt one, right? Yeah. I bought that, and I bought like a couple other games. And unfortunately, the problem was I bought all of them, but I bought them physically, which like I like having a physical game. But
it does make it nicer because I'm like, I would love for you to borrow some games, but I don't have them physically.
Right. I love the physicality of it. But the problem was, in that moment when I bought all of them, I was so excited to play a new game. By the time they arrived, that feeling had gone.
You got to get yourself real quick.
And so it was quite a few months before I actually finally like was looking at this a stack of like 4 or 5 unopened games. And I was like, I have to play one of them. I have to just try something. Like I'm not going to have wasted that money. I don't have that money to waste. So like I have to get something out of these.
Do you think like there is like that list of games, or like the games where you're like, I will get around to playing this, but it will be way too long. And it's like, but why was I so hyped to buy it in the first place? I mean, granted, sometimes you do find stuff like that you really want that is on sale.
Yeah.
Like,
that was part of the problem. Was it was like I had heard good things about all these games. Like they had good reviews, and I knew that they would be like good, but I bought them because they were on sale, not because I was like super invested in them. Like it wasn't like I had heard Prey was good, but like, and it happened to be like 50% off. So I was like, well, yeah, of course, sure, I'll grab it. But like, I wasn't sitting there going like, I've been watching Prey trailers since like the game was like in pre-production. Like I'm so pumped. But then I finally, one day, because it was when I was living with Brandon and Taylor, and
blessed be,
hallowed be their name. They were gone for the day, whatever, and I was sitting at home by myself, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do, and I was like,
what a hell of a game to choose, Prey, right?
Right, by myself. I was just like, I'm gonna play. I'm like, well, I'm here on my own anyway, so like, I'll play a single player game. I'll try Prey. Played Prey, playing it alone in the house. Ooh, and it was dark.
If you have not seen the Prey gameplay from the Milo video, if you're a Redacted stan, or you have never played or seen Prey, and you have the ability to play it either through borrowing it from a friend or finding it for cheap.
Yeah, it's probably
it's on
cheap
Game
now.
Pass.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty cheap by now.
Prey is one of the coolest games I've ever played. I would replay it more often, but I tend to find crashes.
Yeah,
not moon
which
crashes.
Which is crazy because I've never had it crash.
I only had it that one time, but I wonder if I uninstall it, reinstall it. I think I already did, but I also like am playing with like the knowledge of I know where certain neuromods are. I know what to look for, and so it may also be that like, whoa, you're trying to like it's loading too much, and it's just the Xbox because like Control, which I still really think that you should play. I think you would really like it because Remedy makes amazing games. Control would crash my Xbox because like if I had motion blur, I had to turn off motion blur, turn off certain things because like it was at the top end, I guess, for like performance. Yeah. Like I would, part of me kind of wants to like buy it all on PC just so I can like ultra high those settings, but it's like I got all the achievements and all the DLC, including the Alan Wake DLC, like done all of it.
Yeah. That's kind of my other thing with like,
I'll buy remasters of games I've played and loved and then continue to love and play it. New games, it's tough. Although streaming helps.
Well, like, and part of it is like I like it's been really fun to make that like the Milo playthrough of Prey because like I love that game, so it's fun to get back into it. But like it's also weird because like that game it works because it's been so long since I played Prey the first time, so long ago, but it's been quite a few years since I played it the first time. So like while it doesn't feel like brand new, it does feel like new enough where it's like it's new but familiar, especially since like I'm having to at least kind of pretend to be like seeing it through new eyes, like in a weird way, like having to pretend to do that like helps like reinvigorate it and make it a new experience because it's like I'm having to like think about it like that, of like, how would someone who like didn't know these things, like how would that feel? So like, it's a weird sort of like, obviously I'm very much acting, but like it does sort of like make that aspect of it a little more real too, of like re-experiencing it, which is cool. But that one's weird because it's like, I don't like, I almost never replay like narrative games like that. Like I have no desire to ever, I don't see myself ever playing Dragon Age Inquisition again. Not because I don't love that game, but because I played it exactly the way I wanted to from the beginning.
You had like done research to like, because like it's the same thing that I tried to do with Sarah, but there's a glitch with Sarah even if you do everything right. But like you were like, I want to like date Dorian, and it's like, I'm going to find out exactly what I need to do, even if it spoils a little bit. But it's solely so that you don't fuck up those decisions, because you want to redo it. It's going to take 10 hours to get back to where you were.
Right. And I'm sure there are people out there who
you don't know when to save.
Yeah. I'm sure there are people out there that are like, that like ruins the game, but like it really didn't. Like that was how I wanted to play it, and like I loved playing it that way.
Games are meant to be played however you enjoy them.
Yeah. And I got exactly what I wanted out of it. I enjoyed it immensely, but like if I was to play it again, I would play it the exact same way. So there's no point. If that makes sense. Like I love having that memory for what it was, versus like Halo or something where it's like it's level based and like I can make it different. There isn't like decisions, you know, like I'm not like, you know, like, oh, if I do this conversation option, Master Chief's going to do something different in the end. It's not like that.
No.
It's an episodic level based game. So like I can go back to that.
But you could also theoretically like the difference in particular with this example, even though it's more of a generalized example, is like the time commitment.
Yeah.
Too is that like too. Halo is pick up and play. Like we can do a campaign in a day. We have done the Gauntlet. We did Halos 1, 2, and 3 in a day, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
And it was not fun. Well, no,
it was fun.
We had fun.
Yes. There is a difference too, and that's a funny thing about Halo 2. Like not Halo 2 specifically, but Halo as well. Like to go back to sort of like my original thing from the very beginning of this is that like if at any moment one of my friends was like, "Let's play Halo," I'm so down. I know I'm gonna have a good time. It's gonna be fun. Like doesn't matter that I've played Assault on the Control Room more times than I could ever fucking count, because it'll be different because I'm playing it with someone else. So, like, we'll be riffing. We'll be having a good time.
Yeah. It's me going, when do we give the Covenant back their bomb? And you're like, I swear to God, shut the fuck up.
Right. Like, that aspect of it makes it fresh because it's not just me. Like,
you can't
I know what I'm going
to do.
Exactly. I know what I'm going to do. I've played this game a million times. I know how to do it. Even if I decide to do something different, I've done basically everything different I could do.
If you're going to play with Josh or, like, with Brandon, it's like, well, how good, like, how...
It's all brand new.
How quickly could we... Like... Those are people that also enjoy playing the physical game to where they're like, it's like, ooh, that competitive edge. And like, because I recognize my own shit, like I don't care that much about it. It is fun. I know a decent chunk of lore in no right order.
Right.
But I am aware of those things.
Post my video.
Yeah, go ahead. But like, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. But like, it's a different vibe. Like there's absolutely some times where it's like, oh, I want to play this game. I want to play it with somebody. It's like, I'm not going to ask this person because it's not the right vibe. But that has no impact on my thoughts on them. It's much more, in a way, it is almost like a compliment that it's like, no, like I want to do some like good shit. Like we're gonna do like if we're gonna play a shooter game like that's like cooperative and like we gotta like and we want to get shit done. Like I'm calling Josh.
Yeah,
like Left 4 Dead. The time
I was about to
which
say.
is like the time that we kind of like really the first time all four of us really hung out was that Left 4 Dead night, and that was genuinely one of the most fun times playing that game.
It was so fun.
And it was so broken.
I have no desire to play Left 4 Dead by myself.
Remember the errors?
Yes, but like if the four of us all got together again to like do that again, that'd be fucking amazing. Like that'd be super fun.
Well, I think Left 4 Dead 2 is free on Steam. Like I don't know why we don't ever play it. And we can mod the shit out of it too. I mean, it's I guess Back 4 Blood. I didn't like Back 4 Blood that much.
I didn't like Back 4 Blood.
It was.
I didn't dislike it. I felt very neutral about the whole thing. It was very like, the gameplay and everything, like it didn't feel good, bad. It just was happening. Like it was one of those games where it was like, again, I would not play this game by myself.
Yeah.
Its enjoyment comes from this is a thing that I can be doing with friends.
A thing that I have a tough time that I tend to express to people where I'm like, I'm very much of like, I will tell you, like, if you ask me, do I want to do something? Even though my immediate answer may be no, it's that, like, that's being honest.
Mm-hmm.
But with other people, sure.
Right.
Like,
it's different.
Do I want to play Back 4 Blood? Or like, do I want to play Phasmo? I'm like,
yeah.
No, I have no desire in this moment. But that doesn't mean that like, well, hey, like, there's like the three of us going to play. Do you want to play? I'm like, well, yeah, like then it's fun.
Right. Because
like,
then you're just hanging out and you happen to be playing Phasmo.
Exactly. Like, and it's like, not like, oh, I fucking hate this game. I don't want to play it. I'm like, I have gotten better personally about like expressing, like if we're in like a large group call VC, like after about an hour or two, I tend to get a bit more quiet, but I'm just like, I'm still chilling. I'm still having a good time. I just like run out of energy, and it's hard. Sometimes you hit that dissociation and suddenly you're like, I don't know what to say anymore. Yeah. And you get self-conscious and all that. But like at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't mean that I'm not interested. Like, no, intrinsically, I don't have any desire. That was not on my docket today to play this. But if there's a group of us playing, like, I really don't care for Dead by Daylight. But I have played it and will play it with friends because like it's fun hanging out and playing with friends. Mm-hmm. And it's also fair to be like, all right, well, like, yeah, like I'll play for like an hour. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't mind. Like, I'll hang out in the call. I'm going to do something else though. Like, you guys keep playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, please don't stop because of me.
Yeah.
But rather, I'd rather all of the time that we're playing is fun because like I know how I am, and I think we can all relate to where like when you're doing something, it's even though I was upset a few weeks ago, and upset, I wasn't like mad. It was just more of like bummed that like you, me, and Kenny played Destiny for about 2 hours and then we're done, or not even 2 hours. I think we played for like a little over an hour.
When was this?
This was before we did the dungeon.
This wasn't Duality.
No, not Duality. It was before that. We had played one time.
Be so lucky that
we
was
did
only
some
an
like
hour and a half.
weekly stuff or whatever. And it was like, well, do we want to do some more stuff? And it's like, no.
Oh yeah, I got super. I don't know what it was. I was just not feeling it that day.
Yeah, which is like, and then I think we played Golf with Friends.
Yeah,
which is like
that was the thing
fun.
because it was like I wasn't not feeling hanging out. I was just not feeling Destiny.
Yeah, and it's like, in the moment, I was a little just like, man, like what the fuck, guys? Like I'm actually because like I was actually having fun playing Destiny. I think it was like Iron Banner too. Like
yeah,
it just. You know how Destiny is. You never know when you start playing it in a session.
How your day's gonna be.
Like because there are times where you don't intend to. You just like, and you just get like, I'm somehow at like a good point with whatever goals things that I'm like, I'm just gonna like fucking bust some shit out. Yeah. And like listen to or like watch something on my phone, whatever. Mm-hmm. But like it did bum me out. I was like, damn it, like I want us to like it. I didn't care about hanging out. I just wanted to play Destiny. Right. Which is a very weird feeling.
I was the exact opposite. I was like, I'll sit here and chit chat and everything. I'm like, I'm not playing this fucking game right now. Yeah. I don't want to play this.
And like, and I hope I didn't come off, and I'm guessing I didn't because, no one ever said anything to me, but it's like, I was like, yeah, like, oh, are you sure we don't want to play? Like, yeah, okay, but let's play Golf with Friends. That'll be fun. Like, yeah, I didn't really want to play Golf with Friends, but compromises. And like, no one else thinks about it. And the only reason I wanted to break this down is because I'm sure a lot of people also relate to, like, we are all very self-centered people, yeah. whether we want to admit it or not. We are so self-centered because it's like anxiety and stuff. Like we're always worried about us and like whatever is currently on your mind or important to you that you then ask someone else. And it's like, I'm so sorry. I was like this. And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't even notice. I was worried about me. Yeah. I was having a full breakdown. It's like, what do you mean? You were cool as a cucumber. It's like, no, I just felt real self-conscious. I'm like, I didn't even notice, dude. Like that, and that's something that is hard to remember. But like, everyone else is just as like, anxious in some way. That like everyone's too busy thinking about themselves that no one's thinking about you, mm-hmm. and you can choose to think that more negatively or positively. But like, it just is the truth. Yeah, because we all got our own goals.
I got issues,
and you don't got them too.
You got them too.
Oh, I had tissues. I got 2 shoes on right now. But no, yeah, like it was just really cool. It was really fun. And like expressing that is important. Like being able to like trust your friends to admit like I'm not really having fun. But like you also, I will say, you did do it the correct way, mm-hmm. which is I'm really not into this. Do you guys want to play Golf with Friends? Right. There's not like it's hard being vulnerable even with like people that you're close to, like friends, which you would think it wouldn't be the case, but it's like
I don't want you guys to think. It's almost worse than with strangers because like if I really was like upset a stranger like on a basic socially anxious level, would that like,
I don't want to be
would
rude.
I be worried about that? Yes, of course. But like, in the long run, I care a lot less about the opinion of some fucking stranger
I don't want
on
Kenny
the
to
internet.
hate me forever.
Right. Then I care about like your opinion of me or Kenny's opinion of me or whatever, you know? So it's like, yeah, I am more invested amongst friends in not upsetting anyone.
Where it's like, okay, but there's also that bit of like, well, do you think I would just like hate you? Which I have to tell myself all the time. Like,
well, for me, it's even like, I know you won't hate me, but I know that it's going to like, you know, you're clearly having a good time and I'm not.
I'm Mr. Bad Time.
Right. And it's like,
Eric, Mr. Bad Time.
Bad time. It's that weird thing of it's like, there are 3 roads that we could go down.
Less traveled.
One
Frosty.
is that, you know, you're having a good time and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I could continue to not have a good time and let that drag down the mood of everything and just like, you know, inadvertently cause resentment. I could pretend to be having a good time and then that would take a lot of effort and also be really annoying to me, and I would start to feel resentful of the fact that feeling like I have to pretend when I don't feel that way. Or
Which is because you didn't communicate.
Right. Or there's the third option of it's like, I could just be honest. Well, or there's actually 4 options. The third option would then be I could pretend for whatever reason I need to go and make up an excuse.
A bail.
Right. Or there's the fourth option where it's like, I could just be honest and be like, hey, I'm not enjoying this. But like, do you want it? But like a good thing to do if you are in that position is like, if it's relevant, if it's like, you know, like something like that, we were all playing a game together.
If you do still want to do it, like do it all, but you got to do it like in the same sentence, sort of. Like,
right. Like offer an alternative.
Yeah. Or like, okay, hey, yeah, no worries. Are we cool with finishing this last strikeout? And then like, we could just do something else.
Right.
Like, let's just finish the one thing we're working on. Then it's like, you know, at least I don't even know if that's what we ended up doing or how we did it. But like, for me, that would be like, if we were to redo the situation, you know, not that this was like a fight by any means or anything. It's just a very good example of like to me, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, well, I am having fun. Fuck. But like, I don't want you to not have fun. I don't want you to play a game you're not having fun with. Mm-hmm. I'm like, do I really want to play Golf with Friends? No. But I'm like, all right, well, can we like just like finish this out? And it's like, yeah, no worries. Like I could push, you know. Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, I only got to play one more strike. No worries. And then we can have fun. And I'm like, oh, cool. I get to do one more strike.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact circumstances, but we did like the compromise of it was, we ended up going with the thing of it was like, you needed to do like 2 more Iron Bandana.
Yeah. I had to do something.
Right. It was quick. Like, hey, I got to finish like 2 more games to get this quest done. I was like, yeah. Okay. Cause then I had a goal. Mm-hmm. Then it was like, I just have to get through 2 more games.
And you don't even have to care. You could honestly check out and be on your phone.
And I did.
I do it too.
Well, I fought. I mean, like I was still playing, but I was not. I was not fighting at.
But it's weirdly
my
enough.
best.
But now suddenly you're like, I'm having fun, and you probably got to the end of that last match, and you're like, I was actually kind of doing a little good, and it's like, no. Sometimes
it does that, and then you can reassess and be like, actually.
Yeah, but like Kenny also wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, it just wasn't the vibe, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, and then it's like, you know, I think a big thing too is like our friend group in particular, because Josh does, but Josh is. I don't want to say it's not auxiliary member of the friend group. He's part of the friend group. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's not in my personal core.
We tend to hang out in different times, you know, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's just different.
I hang out with Josh far more than I hang out with Jordan. And I do love hanging out with Josh. He is very fun. I also know that he's just a busy dude and like, we can only hang out every other week or so, but like, at the same time, I'm like, I'm much more closer with Jordan, even though I haven't hung out with Jordan in years.
Right, just you and Jordan.
Yeah, just Jordan and I. But like, if I was in his city, I would just text him, and he would probably be able to meet up with me. And like, kind of like, you know, like no time passes. Like we're all pretty good about that, like understanding of like we got shit. Like you and I are only so close, honestly, because of like this and whatnot. I mean, not only, but...
And the court order.
Yeah, mostly. Court-ordered podcasting. But, yeah, like, there's definitely some differences. But, like, I do enjoy hanging out with him, and it's fun. But, like, outside of, like, that core, that's, like, I only ever think about, like, you know, like, you and, like, Brandon in terms of, like, friends that I do hang out with and do things with. But, like, in our group, like, the only, like, we are not... let's all hop on PC and play a game together. We very rarely. We did that. I re-downloaded Civ 5 recently. Graphically, looks like shit. But I think that's a setting thing from like the built-in settings.
Yeah, the graphics aren't too bad.
From my old computer, because I wonder if like even though I reinstalled it, that like it's not set to be at like great settings.
Probably, because the graphics aren't bad.
Yeah, no, it was like kind of fuzzy. But I watched a video on someone playing like the super slow marathon and like breaking it via barbarians, which was kind of interesting. And I'm like, I watched the video and I got kind of back into it, and so I played it for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's all you want. That's all you need. But like that was it. That was a game. But like otherwise, like we don't really play anything like the online would be Destiny for like you, me, and Brandon.
Yeah.
Or it's a party game. Like we do hang out and play games a lot, but we're gonna play Rock Band, Guitar Hero. We're gonna play Mario Kart, like Smash.
Yeah, my thing with online games is that it's like I have no problem with like playing online games with people that like I can't be with in person. Like obviously like Kenny does not live here, so it's like of course, like let's play Destiny.
Much to my
like,
chagrin.
Yeah, so it's like let's play Destiny like online. Of course, Destiny's also kind of a weird one because you can't play it like together on like one screen or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
I mean, although when we lived together and we had the double screen, that was great.
But like I will always prefer to play a game in person, like, and so like that sort of like influences what games like we tend to play, I would say, with like Brandon and Josh and stuff and everything, because it's like I think they're kind of on a similar mindset of it's like I don't know, like we've never really, but it is weird though, because like back in high school, like because
the couch co-op thing, like that's kind of what we grew up on too. I feel like because Lauren, my DM, is like this, like he won't play D&D online, like we don't do that.
But the weird thing is it also isn't, or at least for me, I'm speaking only for myself in this case, but like in middle school and high school, like once I got an Xbox 360, like me and Josh and Brandon and like Jeff and stuff,
Oshkosh,
Fond du Lac, my good friend Fond du Lac. Yeah.
Wow, that's an auxiliary friend.
That's
a compliment to Jeff.
That's a disservice to auxiliary friends to say he's an auxiliary friend.
If he's Jeff, I mean, he's very much like generic Jeff is the only thing that comes to my mind. Like I don't even remember exactly what he looks like, but I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
It's Jeff, baby.
But like,
get you a Jeff.
Used to play online and roll. And we used to play that. Like we play Halo
Model Magic.
We play Halo 3 online like every single day, like at our own places distinctly, but we would like play it like every single day and everything. And that was like normal. And then we would, go to school and see each other and then go home and play Halo and stuff.
Zach and I would play a lot of Call of Duty at his house because you could multiplayer it. And then if we couldn't hang out, we were online.
Yeah. And it was weird because like I was way more into like online games back then, when if anything I had more of the means to be playing together, like because like we were all like in school and everything, and like Josh lived really close to me, although I went over to Josh's place a lot, actually, and we would play co-op games and stuff together. Okay. She's great.
She's wonderful. I love her. She's very fun. I've only met her a handful of times.
She's hilarious. I love Josh's mom. I also loved you, Josh, but
big ups for Josh.
Great. But yeah. So it's weird because it's like nowadays, like,
I forgot that Josh watches this. I hope like I think everything I said made sense. I was trying to like compartmentalize it, but now I feel bad. It wasn't my intent.
For calling Josh an auxiliary friend.
No. But I said I didn't even want to use that, but that was the only thing I could think of.
Right.
It's like a translation error, but the translation is my thoughts.
We just don't hang out as much. Lately, we've been hanging out more, which I've really enjoyed. But yeah, like historically, like we didn't hang out that much for quite a while, especially all of us together.
Yeah,
like, I hung out with Josh.
You know what we need to do is we do need to send a text in the group chat, because now that we finished Halo, we have not hung out since then.
I know, and that's all I want. I'm like,
I'm gonna send a text right now.
Do it.
We don't have to hang out on this Friday, but
because like I want to hang out and do something fun, because like there was a fun aspect of shitting on the show, but I'm also like, I just want to play a game with my friends.
It was just fun, like hanging out.
Like I would love for all of us.
We haven't talked in almost a month.
Yeah. Like I would love for all of us to just like fucking play Left 4 Dead again, and like throw on a Halo or something, like those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but that being said, that's where like my whole thing of like, for example, Left 4 Dead 2 is free on Steam, where I'm like, that does seem like a game that we would all be down to play, where it's like, hey, like, yeah, it probably not gonna all do it in person. Like, we couldn't really realistically do it in person anyway, but it's like, okay, yeah, we could all hop on like a Discord call and just like fuck around for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
Like kind of have maybe like we just don't have a lot of games. We don't have a lot of games that we play. Like my stepbrother Jared, he's like chronically online when he's not working or in school
or on Chronic.
No, he doesn't. He wouldn't. But he, you know, like him and his friends, like they play and like they'll play like all like those little indie game stuff, like in anything and everything, and they'll just play together. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, that's really cool. But I'm like, but also like the online games we like are like RuneScape, where it's like we're not raiding together, we're not raid ready.
Well, it's like that is cool, and like I love.
Josh said next weekend it's happening.
Hell yeah!
Is he watching the podcast
live?
He said he has a pool.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Of course he has a pool.
Oh fuck! That's so hot.
He has had a pool.
Shit makes me wet.
It will when you get into Puo.
And I got to remember that I can like host too now, like more effectively. Like there's cool things, and because I have my VR, I have my PSVR like with Beat Saber, which I still haven't. I bought it, I got everything for it, but because I had to charge everything, and I had trouble streaming it, I just haven't used my VR since that stream. I need to do that.
I love like there was such a not to nostalgia cast, but like there. Do you remember the period of like in college and directly afterwards and everything, where it was like, it was not just an occasional thing. It became a fairly common thing to be like, okay, we're all going to get together and play video games. And we would literally be like, I'll bring an extra TV. So that way we could all play it together. Like that way what we did with Left 4 Dead. Like I brought a TV. So that we had two TVs, so we had two people
because we could connect them.
Yeah. Like, I missed that shit. And then it was so much easier when we had various apartments with two televisions next to each other. I thought for quite a while about like figuring out having another TV, but I was like, not to like be a downer, but I was like, I think that time in our life is kind of over.
In this house?
Yeah.
Where would you put it?
I had thought about like down where there is like the current TV, like having a different setup below it, so that there would be like a TV that like could be like in a cabinet kind of a thing, so like, it wouldn't be on display all the time. But then like if we were doing it, like you can like open it and like see it or whatever. That was a plan at one point. But yeah, like I said, like not to be morose, but I was like, I feel like that time in our life is over.
I also don't know really like the actual physicality, like practically how often will we do that?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, like
that, like we would. While I'm sure we would.
It made more sense when we lived together, because it's like, even though like most of the time it was just me because you were like in your room. Like I'm sure it's actually planning out some of the channel stuff towards the end, or starting to like think about that kind of stuff. I don't know, you're just doing your thing. I mean, we also hang out and play games too. Yeah. But like it was also nice because like, I would have my laptop plugged in with my wireless, my lap board.
You have something.
So it's like I have the guide up that I'm looking, I'm hunting for these materials.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it. Like that's what I love, and that's why I'm always at my desk now, because I'm like, the idea of pulling out my laptop, which I have 3 of, is any one of them seems
it's anathema.
It's work.
Yeah.
I don't want to open it.
Yeah.
And then figure out what the charger is, even though it's like I used to do that all the time.
Well, and that's the thing though, is like funny enough, like if like for that period when like you, me, Brandon, and Josh were like hanging out every 2 weeks, like like that alone would, if I was to have like a dual TV setup or whatever, like that alone, by virtue of doing it every 2 weeks roughly, would have meant it was getting more like co-op use than like it did in our apartment ended up. So like the irony is that it's like, would it get use? I'm like, if we committed to it, it actually would. But like, I don't know that's.
There's just not really. I can't even picture what games we would play that we would need that.
Any game where it's not good to have everyone on one screen.
But like multiplayer, like where servers are still online, that we could have 2 parties of 2 link up and play. You know what I mean?
Not really. Like Halo, Left 4 Dead, Mario Kart. Any of those are better with 2 TVs.
Oh, shit. No, okay.
Even games where you can have 4 people on one TV, that sucks.
Yeah. Okay. I understand now. I didn't think about it. Like Mario Kart was a good example where I'm like, well, yeah, but how would you all play if it was only one person? It's like, well, then 2 people are logged in online and then 2 people are guests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I also forgot, like, in terms of Xbox, like, all 4 of us have Xbox Live accounts, or Josh might not.
Josh and Brandon don't, but
No.
you and I do.
Yeah.
In any console, 2 of us have accounts.
Yeah.
So
like, ideally, we could get away with it. But, like, also, I think part of it, too, like, as to, like, why we don't do it anymore is that, like, a lot of those genres, too, have, like, burned out. Like, I got burned out on Call of Duty.
mm-hmm.
Like, I will admit that, like, I have played or purchased, like, most of them, but it's, like, for the campaign or, like I remember playing Black Ops 2 was fucking great. You know, all the stuff before then was great. Then, like, Modern Warfare 3 came out, and it was okay. I didn't care for the online all that much. Because it's, like, every fucking year. This is the first year where they're not coming out with one, I believe. Which is, like, insane.
Now that they got... didn't they get bought or whatever?
I don't remember. Something.
Yeah, Microsoft bought them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, like, they're going to do, like a Modern Warfare 2 remaster or remake, which is what they did. Like, if it's like Modern Warfare remake, which was really good, then that's cool. But I'm also like, I don't want to just buy a nicer version of a game I've already played.
Oh, I do. I am that target audience, which is unfortunate.
That's what I mean. Like, yes, 100%. I fucking want to. Like, I fucking love, like, the remastered, but I'm like, but I'm still like I also own this game, not remastered, and it is much better.
But it's not remastered.
But I'd also like for them to just make good games.
Well, see, that's my problem is people are like, don't you want new games? And I'm like,
I want good games.
I'm like, no.
Really? You don't want any new game?
Well, it depends. Depends on, like, I don't know. It depends on the
game.
The franchise, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, I don't really, like, I don't need a new...
You don't buy every FIFA when it comes out?
I don't need a new
Madden?
3D platformer Mario. I just wanted, like, an actual, like, good version of, like, Sunshine. Like, because that port was not good.
Could we just get Sunshine 2? Or just, like, not a port, but, like, a full, like, remaster or remake?
Like, an actual good one that's not, like, the emulated trash with all the glitches and everything. Like, that would have been cool. It's weird. For, like, as much of a nostalgia play as, like, Nintendo, like, is built on, they're really terrible about, like, effectively, like, re-releasing stuff, which is so weird because it would make them so much money. I don't know why they don't do it.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Or they release stuff in, like, the weirdest way.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they the Super Mario All-Stars, like, it had the 3 games.
Very good. It was a limited release.
And then I think they finally did, like, reopen it or whatever. No,
they never brought it back.
But, like, and it also wasn't good. I remember I was like, I guess I'll try Galaxy. I fucking hated it.
Well, they just emulated all the games. They didn't even remaster any of them. They just emulated them. And so, like, the controls are shit half of the time. It's not.
Because it wasn't, like, made for the Switch.
Right. Like, and that's not to say that, like, emulated games are, like, automatically bad, but, like, these weren't good emulations. There were already better ones that, like, third parties had done through, like, Dolphin and stuff. And they were way better.
Cleaner and whatnot.
Yeah, with, like, actual, like, meaningful changes to, like, control structure.
Because, like, the community wants to.
Yeah. Like, it's yeah.
No, I get it. It's aggravating, man. Fusion. It's aggravating. And I like games. Like,
yeah.
I'm torn. Because there are games. But because then, like, there are parts of me that, like, love to go back. Like, there has to be enough time to go back to a game. Like, I'm almost done with Nier Replicant. And I now really want to replay Nier Automata because the context. Like, Emil, the train car skull face man thing. Like, I didn't understand who the fuck that was. Like, why is there this talking train who's, like, he'll just run you down, but if you can, like, not get killed by him, you can buy stuff from him, and he's, like, very chipper and cheery, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Now I know so much now, and there's still more for me to know. Like, yeah, like, it turns out after we finished ending B that, like, he's still alive. He's just dead now because his sister's body was very indestructible. After he fused with the sister and became a floating skeleton man, which is cool. But, like, stuff like that where it's like, oh, the context where I'm like, ooh, I get to do it. Like last year during Halloween month or Spooktober, the first game was Dead Space.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have played this game a couple times. It is very fun. And I'm like, we're not going to do 2 and 3. We're not doing like the whole trilogy. I'm like, but I want to start it right. And with a game that like, I just got myself hyped up. I'm like, we're going to do it. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Refill my stasis. Give me those cheat codes. Because there's like the inputs and stuff that you can do.
I never did those.
I almost got the tier 3 engineer achievement for beating it on the hardest difficulty. I'm on chapter 10.
Yeah, I never bothered to play on the higher difficulty, so I didn't really
hard. That's where it would be useful. Like that's the only one that like I would argue is useful because I was in a room with no fucking ammo. Yeah. It's like you got to freeze, stomp, freeze, and it's just hard. Yeah, the big boys. But yeah, I'm excited.
Also, what the fuck? Why is Choo Choo Trials not out?
They didn't get it backing.
They lied and said it would get quarter 1, 2022, and now they took out the quarter 1 because, like, evidently we're past that. So they're like, it's coming out in 2022. I'm like, where? Mm-hmm. As long as it's out by October, I'll be happy because I want to play it for October.
Yeah, I mean, and you would actually stream it too, probably, maybe, or at least play it for yourself. You just like it, which I find very funny. That like, something I like brought up as like a meme. You're like, oh no, this is cool.
No, it looks cool. My thing with streaming is I enjoy it. I enjoy like streaming games. But I would never want the first time I play a game to be on stream.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that. I like experience it. Like I like, unless it's, I mean, if it's like a party game, like golf with friends, like that was the first time I'd ever played it was when we played it on stream. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Throw me in. It's good. It's fun. But like, any game like that where it's like actually more of like
if it's a game that you would play off stream,
like I don't know the Choo Choo Charles' narrative, but you know what I mean. It's still like it's not like a party game. Like I don't want to play that. I don't want to experience that for the first time, like out there with other people. While
whenever we play Destiny, it's like you're like, I'm taking off my headset. I'm muted. Goodbye. Like new expansions and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for cutscenes and stuff. Yeah, it's like, okay, you guys, I'll be right back. Like,
because like we don't realize it, and it's like, wait, fuck, that's right, we are doing new shit. Everyone, shut up.
Yeah, and I want to hear it. And yeah, with like but with Destiny, like I know so much of it and everything, and it's like it's not as, and nothing ever is that like impactful or not like already like revealed or hinted.
That's not going to be like repeated 8 times,
right? So like with that one, like while I do want to listen to the cutscene, like it's not like I want to play this by myself, but like
no, because it's more efficient to be with everybody. It's just be mindful. That's not a perfect example, but yeah, But like, you know, not to bring it back to Halo again, because all I ever talk about is Halo and Star Trek. But with Halo, like the first time I play any of the games, like I want to play by myself, because like I want to absorb everything about it. But then I immediately want to play it co-op. Like I want to play it with friends. But that's the same thing of it's like I wouldn't want to stream it because like I don't want my attention divided in that way. And like I don't know, I want to just experience it for myself before it's like I'm experiencing with like a crowd, for lack of a better term. That's so interesting because I'm like similar to a point, but like I get torn where like because I do make content, I guess I don't think of myself like that, but maybe I should.
I do make content, I guess, as the guy who puts out streaming content 3 to 4 times a week.
I just go live. Like
that's content.
That's content, baby. I guess
it's a different kind of content.
Yeah, like because to me, like it just kind of feels like I hit record and we're hanging out.
Yeah, but that's content.
Like, yeah, it's good. It's not. Yeah, thank you.
It's freeform content.
Yes, unscripted. Yes. So there's this part of me that's like being able to like capture my reactions to things is something that people also really enjoy. Yeah. Not just in terms of like, oh, so I can post it and get big numbers, but rather like, no, like the community can see me get like lose my shit over it and whatnot. And so there's that like internal, like, I want to experience this myself because like, I don't want any outside influence,
right?
But I also want people to see. And maybe a medium of that is like, you know, like, cause for me, I'm like, if I start a game on stream, I want to finish it on stream. I don't want to like, okay, we're going to start playing this. Like, I'll just like any game that I have played before for even a little bit that I've done on stream, I just make a new file for. Cause I'm like, I want everyone who's here to be able to like see things from the beginning. Which I don't have to do. I don't have to do any of those things, but I like doing those things. Because you know, as best as I can. Like, I'm not going to have to redo it every time. I'm like, all right, we're redoing this campaign, like the story now for the third time. We're skipping through all these cutscenes. I know to look for the words. We're good.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all here for this. We've seen this. We're good.
Yeah.
But it's like that. It depends on the game. It depends on the game. It depends on the type of game. And, you know, if I have played a game even for a little bit, it's like the big wow factor. Like it already hit for me. So I don't get anything out of it. And then I'm like, it feels like a diminishing return for a viewer. Like, oh, you don't seem excited. And it's like, no, I already did this. Like there are games where I'm like, okay, I've played like the first like couple sections of this. So once we get past that, it'll be all new for me.
Yeah.
And like, that's a better like compromise, which is just being more upfront and honest about it, I guess. But then there's that other part where I'm like, I absolutely don't mind people helping me out, but it's like, it's not that I don't want to say there's no backseat gaming, because there's definitely times where I'm like, okay, I could, you know, like whatever advice or whatever. And I don't want to necessarily have to like ask for it. But then there's other times where like we play Detroit Become Human, and I'm not like mad at anybody or anything, but like, especially with there being like a 10 to 15 second delay, and like unless I just full stop pause the game, like the timer runs out, like everybody shouting stuff at me, or like, you know, giving me like, oh yeah, we fucking hate this person, and it's like, I wish you guys would have let me learn to hate the person instead of just, oh, we're going to end up hating this person, and then I kind of have a negative viewpoint throughout the whole game, which is not like of any fault. Like, I totally understand you guys are, you know, the community's excited to like do this, and they're kind of talking to themselves, not necessarily at me.
But you see it and it affects it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like sometimes hard to like do that, and so I haven't figured out exactly the right way to do that kind of stuff, like in terms of like to where I don't feel bad, or I don't like, I feel like everyone got my authentic thing. I was able to get what I needed without like it going too hard. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of times it's just like play it by ear.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess for me, it would be more of like
case to case basis.
Not even so much a party game, because like that's a little bit like reductive to say. I guess it's a game that I'm taking. Yeah, my alternative form. I guess is it a game that I'm taking seriously from a story perspective? Like when we played, you know, like It Takes Two, like that's a serious game. That's not a party game. I was not seriously invested in that game. I wasn't taking that game seriously. I was playing it with a friend. Yeah. So I didn't care.
Yeah, I can't progress through this game without you.
Right. So like with that one, I didn't care about like playing that, you know, by myself or off stream first. Like I don't care, whatever. Like I keep going back and forth about like if I ever want to play like a Pokemon game, because like I love Pokemon as a concept, and I love Pokemon Go, and like I watch videos about Pokemon and stuff, and like I genuinely
You did play Let's Go Pikachu
for a while,
for about half the game, or for a couple days, and then
like I genuinely enjoy like the IP and stuff about it and everything. Like we joke that like, you know, like, yeah, I'm a Gen 1er, but like I'm not. I genuinely like I like all of it. I think it's really cool, but not in a way where it's like I actually feel any drive to play any of the games. But like with one of those, it's like, so if I did play a game, like I would do that on stream, like, you know, cold, like having never played it before, because like I'm not taking it seriously in the same way. But like when Halo Infinite came out,
no one talked to me.
Do not speak to me.
Phone is on do not disturb. You will not disturb.
Because this game, I have been waiting for it, and I care so much about it, and like I don't want anything to ruin it. The first time I started to play Halo 4, I was playing it with Brandon, and I love Brandon, but like
he's memeing,
and he wasn't like memeing like maliciously. Like we were both memeing. I was memeing with him because like, you know, like because, you know, like we're memeing together
in the weeds, yeah.
But in the moment, I was like, but also this game is really important to me. I need to know the story. So like we memed for a while, and then it was like we reached a point where I was like, okay, like we're midway through the game, and then I was like, I need to go finish the game by myself. Like,
you just because like, and now you feel bad.
Well, no, I didn't like, that wasn't like a, hey, we need to stop, but it was like, we just like ran out of time. And so then like, I made a decision within myself. I was like, I need to go replay all of that and then finish it by myself, because like, I need to like have that for me. And that was the game where it flipped the switch, where I was like, okay, this is where I now know that like, when I play like Halo games or something that like I really care about, like I need to do it for myself and then do it with other people.
And like the fact that you can like acknowledge that and express that, that's the other part of that, is you have to also express that. Like it is like I remember like the first time, like I think it was Destiny 2 launched, where you're like, oh, 1 second. I'm like, fuck, like I'm sorry, I didn't even think about like how rude that was, like, or like bothersome that you were trying to like pay attention, because I'm like half-ass paying attention too, because it's Destiny.
Yeah.
You know, take it with a grain of salt. But it like I'm like, oh fuck, like totally get it. So like obviously Destiny's the only game where that's like a little different, but like you know, the same concept of like no, totally get it. Like go fucking like I don't care, do whatever you need to do. We don't need to play. We don't have to play at the beginning. You know, like we can wait and then like meet up once you know, or whatever, like, you know, link up. So yeah, that's really cool, man. It was a fun time. I don't know, I just sometimes I do like games. I think you just have to like make it an environment where it's fun to play games, and then allow yourself to be comfortable and just do it. Or like play it. Like I don't even like let myself like I'll go sit on the couch after moving my Xbox back into the living room and then check YouTube on the TV, and then I never end up playing my Xbox. I'm like, why? I'm like, I could have pulled it up on my phone, but my phone's almost dead. I'd have to go grab my charger. It's like, then just go do all of that. Like, it's not illegal. You can just do it. I don't know, man.
It's complicated. I love video games, but then like if I was to actually like sit down and look at like this year in particular, 2022 in particular, and was like, how much time, like if someone asked me like, what are things that you like? Video games as a concept would be like pretty much at the top, you know, like it's like, what do you do with your spare time? It's like, oh, I love to play video games. If I looked at how much do I look
like a gamer?
If I looked at like
what's up, gamers?
If I could somehow like look at the pie chart of how my time has been spent over the course of 2022,
don't do it. You're not hungry for that pie.
I have played almost no video games. The only time I have played anything has been like with you and Kenny, or like us and Sin, like whatever. Like I have
with friends.
Yes, I have played almost nothing.
A little bit of Need for Speed.
By myself. I've played a little bit of Need for Speed, and it was one of those things where it was like, it was one day of like the switch flipped, and I was like, I'm fucking playing Need for Speed. And I played it like all day. And then like a month later, the switch flipped again, and I ended up playing it on stream, and it was a lot of fun. We were just like, you know, like shooting the shit, and I was playing playing fully copywritten music, because I was like, it's an unlisted stream, it's fine. It was not fine. It got flagged. But yeah, it's like it's there have been such tiny pockets of times when I've actually played video games, which is so weird, because like I love video games, and like I
think about them. We talk about them all the time.
I consider them such a huge part of my life, and yet like if I look at this year, which is half over, I have played almost nothing, which is not bad. It's just weird to think about that. It's like video games still feel so important to me and are so important to me, but like if I really look at my time, I'm like, I just haven't touched them. I just haven't fucking touched them.
No, absolutely.
And that's not like, you know, good or bad. It's just a weird thing to think about.
Like, because I play so many games on stream, it, to me personally, feels like I don't really play games anymore. I've talked about it multiple times in like the last like 6 months too, of like, I just don't like have any motivation. It's like, I love doing it on stream, like, and whatnot, but it's like, well, I'm in the middle of like 2 or 3 games that I started on stream, so I don't really want to push, you know, through them.
Right.
And so
I guess if you did start something and liked it, then it's like, I should share this.
I should have done this on stream.
I should do this on stream. This should be something.
And now my list grows. Yeah, exactly. But then there are times too, like in almost in like a similar vein, with kind of backtracking a bit too, is like games that I didn't feel called to play. It's like, yeah, I'd like to play it, but like because of like doing it on stream, that makes it more palatable, more open to doing it. Like I don't have a problem trying to play Breath of the Wild again, going in years later, not doing it off of like watching you do stuff, because I didn't watch you play it until you had already like been in the game. So like you didn't have to worry about like a lot of your resources, because you're just like, like I've got a few items and shit, blah blah blah. Versus, I broke my only stick and I can't do anything now, and I'm just gonna keep getting killed. I can't get past this little like corner. So like that was like how Undertale was. It took me a year to beat Undertale, but like it's because I took a year off from it, because I felt like I was just playing it because I had to, and in hindsight, I wish I would have just fucking pushed through it. But I'm glad I did it the way I did because I'm in a much different place and it hit different. But yeah, I think about games a lot. My Google search is all over the place. I love talking about them.
I watch YouTube videos all day long about video games.
And I think that like that's also great that like so much you can enjoy a game so much and consume new information or perspectives or entertainment out of it without ever turning it on, which is cool.
Like my love of Halo has been like bolstered and reinforced and reinvigorated by like these couple channels that I found. And I have not booted up Halo. I mean, like, you know, Halo 1 in particular, like a lot of people talk about that one. I have not played Halo 1 since, I don't know.
We did the gauntlet.
Yeah, that was the last time. But like, I feel like, you know, like, but my interest in it has been like reinvigorated and like just by consuming stuff about it, which is really cool. Yeah. That it's like, I don't know. It keeps it in my life.
Well, if you are ever interested, I do have Pokemon Shield, which is the one with like the wild area. It's a little more fun.
I was probably, if I was going to do it, it would probably be Arceus.
Yeah.
Or Arceus, I don't know.
Which I also have physically. Yeah. So I'll bring that over next time. And then, because like that one's really cool. It's that nice little middle ground where there's still battles, but moving around.
Yeah. That one intrigued me because it was a little bit different because like, I'll be honest, like great. From having played Let's Go, which of course is, you know, like, simplified and everything compared to like Sword and Shield, I'm sure. Just like the general mechanics of it's like, not to say like that's all there is, but like I didn't enjoy it. I don't enjoy that kind of gameplay, that style of gameplay. And so like while I like so much about, it's like me with D&D where it's like I love so much around it without loving
which is why we're gonna love Gloomhaven. Yeah, because it's no talking, all killing.
That's what I'm like hopeful and has made me like keep thinking like maybe I'll play Pokemon Legends is because I'm like, it is, you know, it has features of it, but it has other different things. Yeah. And I'm like, I've kind of learned that it's like, I don't really like conventional Pokemon games.
I will say
maybe I'll like that one.
Out of all of the ones, like my only like caveat is that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is just rehashed Red and Blue for like the 80th time, and those are the most boring games in the whole series to me.
Right.
That
I'm just talking mechanically though.
Yeah. No, I understand that too. But like, yeah, I guess there's not much like mechanically like different.
Battle RPG.
Yeah, turn-based battles.
Like turn-based battle RPG of like where like you have a selection of moves that you can rotate out through various means and stuff. Like that's not really my kind of game style.
Yeah. I will say, though, if you do play Arceus and kind of be like, oh, this is good, that when Scarlet and Violet come out, we do not have much information on it, but it is multiplayer in some capacity of, like, adventuring with up to 4 friends. I have no idea what that means, but, like, that could be really cool. Like,
yeah, I'm down to try it.
And, like, Sword and Shield was the one where, like, the like Pokemon are in the overworld and there's other people there. That's only specifically in the wild area. Yeah. But it was cool where like you can go to an area where like the Pokemon are too strong. Like they're too strong that like you can't even catch it.
Right.
But if you are just strong enough, they are just below that. Like if it's too high, it'll be question marks. Yeah. But it'll be like, no, like it's very hard to catch. But like you suddenly got something that's 20 levels higher. But you know, it's a risk reward system.
Yeah.
And that one was fun mainly due to you're walking in the routes and you see the little Wooloos and you could just go up to it and then encounter it and like that like much more immersive. That's where like to me I'm like the mechanics are different because of that. But Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did have the overworld sprites too though.
Yeah.
But I just hate the aesthetic of the game. It's too like washed out color. Like it's too bright but washed out at the same time, if that makes sense. Like it's the same. It's like there's a filter on it to make everything like gloss, like not even glossy, but like it. Have you ever seen a picture where it's like, oh, the filter they used was bright? It's like that. Yeah, I don't like it. But I'm also not opposed to it. Arceus was fucking great, running around and like literally making the like everything in it is very intuitive. Or like, oh, a Pokedex. How do I like increase the data on it? Because in regular games, you catch it once, you have everything. Well, they don't have everything, so it's like. Well, you got to catch like 10 fucking Rattata. or there's no Rattata, but like 10 fucking Starly, and then you can finally 10 star it.
Starly is the next community day Pokemon.
I already have a shiny Starly. I hate it. I'm bored of it.
It's such a boring shiny. It goes from like dark brown bordering on black to light brown.
They're trash. Although
and
like
it's not even a very good Pokemon.
Staraptor is great.
Yeah.
Well, like in that generation, because he's like a solid bird flying type, but like I never used it in Pokemon Go once.
I don't know. I've become like a
Community Day should be for Pokemon that rarely spawn.
Yeah, I've become like a shitty like sweaty raid player now.
Mm-hmm.
Not sweat like
Shadow Legends.
Yeah, Shadow Legends.
Raid.
Oh yeah. And so like I don't know, like now I'm in the mindset of I'm like I care about Pokemon that are good for raids, which is a specific thing. Like in Pokemon Go, like you're not caring about like, well, at least I don't care about battles or any of that shit. Like all I care about are raids. And so the pool of good Pokemon is very different compared to like what would be like a good one in like any kind of a conventional Pokemon like game, because like the pool,
the meta is so weird, and like
in a normal game
I use Magnezone, Tyranitar, and Hariyama, which Hariyama and Magnezone are not ones that I'd ever use.
Like in a normal Pokemon game, like general consensus is that Bug is one of the worst, if not the worst types.
Ice
and Bug kind of like go back and forth. Yeah. But like
personal preference stuff, but yeah, in general, Bug, they evolve early, which is nice for early game to have like a fully evolved Pokemon, but they fall off pretty quick.
Yeah. And yet in Pokemon Go, Bug is actually like really helpful because so many of what's in like the 5-star raid pool are psychic types, or at least psychic dueled with something else. So like in that respect, in Pokemon Go, like Bug type, it's actually really good to have like some good like decent bug types. Like you want like Escavalier with, you know, fucking Infestation and Horn whatever, like
Horn Drill.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I can't remember. But like, yeah, it's weird. So like what I care about in Pokemon Go is so like different from what like, you know, in a normal Pokemon game you probably care about. It's odd. And everyone's like, Gengar's the best. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I have a fucking 3-star Gengar and like he gets his ass handed to him all the time. And it's not because he's like not good, but they're like, pair him up against psychic types. I'm like, okay, but like they get super effective fucking damage against him.
Because he's poison and ghost. That's his typing. And psychic is strong against poison.
Right. And so everyone's like, use it against psychic types. It's good. I'm like, it's not. It's not that he doesn't do good damage. He does.
He just can't.
But he gets his ass handed to him.
It's like a cannon. Well, that's like, I read apparently that on Pokemon Go.
If I could Mega him, but I can't yet.
It's better to, I know.
But
my shiny Mega
Gengar is coming back at the end of this month.
Good.
So I can finally get enough Mega Candy to Mega Evolve him. Because now you don't need you just need enough candy to do it once.
Yep.
And then you can do it. So
that's
I'm like,
how it always should have been.
So I'm like, I just have to get
fair compromise.
I just have to get to that time. July 22nd is when he starts showing up, and I can finally get a fucking Mega Gengar.
You'll do it. I believe in you.
I will. I got a shiny Articuno.
Ooh, congrats.
It's very pretty.
Nice.
It's very pretty. I also got a shiny Darkrai.
Oh, I don't have that. Wait, I don't think I have that. I'm envious.
I have a shiny Darkrai. I didn't get the shiny Cresselia before Cresselia went away again.
Oh, I
got shiny Darkrai.
I think I have one Cresselia. I don't think I have a shiny one.
Yeah, I have.
I didn't even think to do any of those.
I have them, but I don't have the shiny. They only came. I had never had either of them, and like they came back just for like Go Fest in Germany, so they weren't even here. But you could like remote raid in. So I remote raided, and I just happened to get incredibly lucky on Darkrai. On my second Darkrai raid, I got a shiny, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah,
but. Anyway.
Apparently, in like the battles, especially like the Go League battles, you actually don't want, like, you want like a 2-star or 3-star that's like maxed out on HP and defense, and your attack is minimal, because having maxed out attack like hurts you.
Oh,
like it's not as good. Like there's some like I wanted to know more, but I'm like, I don't want to read numbers right now.
It's a whole other world.
Like the PvP. Level of depth, like people start using spreadsheets and shit.
It's a
which,
whole other thing.
Mad respect in any fandom of anything where people have already done like the shit that Mewtwo King has done for like Super Smash Bros. Melee with I'm like, I could never do that.
No. I really should like
Infa fucking does crazy shit in all of his Dark Souls videos. He's got binders.
I should try to learn more about like the PvP meta of Pokemon Go because it's a really great way to get Stardust. And if there's one thing that I'm always needing, it's Stardust. I'm good.
Eric's looking for dust. You heard it here.
Well, because like I do lots of raids and everything, so like I don't have to worry about getting rare candies. I get rare candies often. I get charged TMs often. Like I get like
I'm drowning in charged TMs and fast TMs.
Like I get a lot of things that like other people might struggle with, but like I never have enough fucking Stardust, and I'm like I need to like I can't, and it gets so fucking expensive to upgrade Pokemon at the upper levels. In terms of Stardust.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I have the candy. That's not the problem. But like at this point to get like one increase on my fucking Gyarados, it's like literally 100,000 Stardust or something. And I'm like,
but you're like one off from Matt because
yes.
like you hit a new level, so now there's a little bit more that you can do. The top off every level sucks,
and it's just so frustrating. But so I should look into it more because apparently it's a great way to get Stardust. But I don't know.
Cool. So we did have a lot of questions, but we also like are just at about 2 hours. So
let's just roll them over.
I was gonna say, yeah. Are we good with just? We'll make sure to start them earlier next week. But like this was actually
next
like
week
a
will
really
be more question focused.
Yeah. And so like if you have any questions from this too, please do, and we'll do like a bigger question. I mean, do we also want to do like a more of like community thing? Not like a stream or anything, but like, you know, so that we don't have to worry about like having to bring up too many focuses. Like we haven't done like a prompt in a while.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't
see. Like I didn't even think about it until right now. So it's like I don't have any ideas, but
I mean, like I would love some video game questions.
Yeah, video game, like any video game,
whatever
questions.
Form that takes for you.
And
but also, if you just have any other question, go for it. But like, I love a good video game question.
Hopefully,
I also love a bad video game question.
I can't wait to make fun of it. Well, it's just I wouldn't even consider a question that I don't have a good answer for is not a bad question.
No,
but like ideally, like yes or no. Like I don't know. It's not like it's a bad question, but it's just like I want to make sure that you're getting a response that you feel is adequate.
Yeah,
and it sucks when like neither of us have like no.
Video game questions are something where it's like I feel like
I've said what
I'll have an answer. Like you could ask me almost any question.
If you could make any,
games.
We had one question that's like if you could make like your dream game, like if you could make a game like AAA level, like and nothing like you had the ability to do so, what kind of game would you make? And I'm like,
yeah. I actually have an answer for that. I'll save it for that question. But yeah, but like that's something where it's like I know that like in almost any case I can come up with an answer like on the spot and like give you something of some substance.
It feels better to do it off the cuff without like thinking of an answer first because then I feel scripted.
Right. Like that's one of those things where it's like I have such a broad interest in video games. Broad.
Nice nuts.
I have such a a broad interest in video games. Like I can answer like I have a decent answer for almost anything. You like that?
That was just really funny.
But whereas like I feel so bad when someone asks me like a deep, meaningful question, and because like I don't think in those terms all the time, there'll be something of like, what's like the most impactful memory that you've had of like a time where I was like,
I've never had memories.
If you could remember one day for the rest of your life, if you were to lose everything else, what's a memory you'd want to live in? And I'm like, that is a deep, meaningful, really sweet question, and I don't fucking know. All I can think about is I ate really good pizza the other night, so I'll just relive that.
The day where I found that like one video that I can never find again on a pornographic site.
Yeah,
that would be the day. Yeah.
Or it's something like it's a really simple and basic where it's like I relived the first time I ever watched like a summoning salt video. It's not that that's not a good memory, but it's like really like if I had to like actually like but if I had time to think about it, no, of course that would not be the answer I would give you.
But that's also like a genuinely like hard question because there is no right answer.
Yeah, and it's not a bad question by any means. It's a very thoughtful question. If you think of thought-provoking, I should say.
How old are you? But you're about to be 29, right?
Yeah.
In a few weeks. Same here. So at an average of 365 times 29, you will have lived roughly 10,585 days.
500.
Which is, which when you put it like that, that doesn't feel like 30 years.
No.
Or like 29 years, you know.
Well, you're speaking for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
of course. But like, you want me to pick one of those 10,585 days and tell you which one was the best? Fuck if I know, man. I can't even remember. I don't. I'm pretty sure I don't remember
the vast majority of them. I set my phone down and I don't know where it is. I think I'll remember that day.
I think like if I were to sit and like really try, I could remember a lot more days than I think, or at least like a thing that happened on a day. And I know that these things happen on different days.
Yeah.
But I don't think of it in terms of like a full day.
Yeah.
Like I know there was like some vacation moments or some like really awesome moments. I'm like, I'm gonna remember this forever. And I'm like, I remember thinking that. I couldn't tell you what the fuck I did.
Well, it's really hard to think of something when like you're so broad. When you're so broadly prompted, like, and that's not a disservice to the question, but like, it's if someone asked you like, "What's the happiest day of your life?" I'd be like, "I don't know.
I haven't had a kid yet, so I can't."
Right. I don't
like that's such a good crutch.
I don't have the fallback answers of like the day I got married, the day I had a kid. Like, I don't have those sorts of like not scripted, but basically, I don't have those like go-to answers. So I have to try to think about it on the spot of like, I don't know, like it's so broad. Whereas like when like I can't remember what it was, but it was like like if you ask someone like sometimes like I don't remember what the premise was, but like me, Brandon, and Taylor, like for whatever reason we were like having this like strange conversation one night, and it turned into like us just asking each other like almost as like a thought experiment, like for very specific memories of it's like, tell me of a time, like tell me a story about you in second grade, and it specifically has to be about school. And like when it gets that specific, like
now you can give me some time.
It's easier to remember. Like you need a little bit to like think about it, but like it's easier to come up with something. So it's like it's weird how specificity can like help with like memory like that.
Well, it's because it's like, dude, we're in a pool. Can you give me a bucket? Right. If I have a bucket, it's so much easier to find it because I know where to look. I'm not wasting time on the other end.
Yeah.
So like I get it. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's still a good question though.
Yeah. No, it's not like, a bad question.
I mean, you also got to be careful, like personally, like when people are like, what's like the happiest day? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, what does it really mean to be the happiest day? Because like, I mean, there's also like this like part of me that's like, well, would I want the happiest day to be behind me and I'll never be that happy again? Because like that's how you get yourself on a spiral, and that's not good either.
You can go real dark real fast.
I think that
memory in general can send you down a path.
I would also argue that like I have said many times in my life that this is the happiest I've been in a while. Like in a general life sense, which just means that I've continued to grow as a person. And I think that like what I considered to be the happiest day of my year when I was 20, like of my 20s, I don't know if I had to relive that year, but as me as I am now, if I would agree that was, if you know what I mean? Like, I think that's an interesting way to think about it. Like we're at different points, and like, I think that your happiest day can also change at like, the easy answer, and that's not to be derivative, it's just because we don't have kids or are married, so like we get this is what we get. This is what the dink people get, the dinkers, right? The dinky stinkies, right? Double income, no kids, that kind of shit. Where it's like, you sink. We're sinking. Single income, no kids, single income, no Kenny.
R.I.P.
I
hope he's sleeping.
Well, it's 5 p.m. It's 8 p.m. for him. He probably is getting up. He does sleep during the day.
He's got a very odd sleep schedule, but
yeah, I mean,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
He's really young. He's only like 24.
Yeah,
which is like surreal because
I don't know that I'd call that really young.
No, well, yeah, I guess it's only a few years younger.
Really
than us.
not like.
It's because of the way sin will say it, because sin is decrepit.
Well, that's different.
Made of,
well, now we're talking about age gaps, and that's different.
Age gap? No, it's like a canyon. Sin is so old. They scuffed their knee when they were at my house, and dust came out.
Sin's so old. When someone told them to act their age, they died. No one's ever made that joke before.
They said they brought blood bags, and it's just evaporated blood. Just add water. From the war. I don't know which one.
The great one.
the one against
Back
that.
when
like,
it was called the Great War.
Remember that woolly mammoth?
Remember the Titans?
Sin was there. Saying, I can't get my music to work. But no, yeah. Like, I don't remember. Yeah, but like, we don't got those. But it's nice to be able to be like, yeah, I have a kid. Like,
we don't
like
have conventional watershed memories to be like, this thing.
I just got great value memories.
I also don't think like in terms of like, I don't know. I could far more easily tell you like what have been like really great periods of my life. I don't tend to like boil it down to a day because it's not usually that simple. Also, I haven't had like incredibly meaningful days.
I've had days where only good things have happened.
Right. I've had very meaningful good parts of my life, stretches of my life and everything that like for sure like, and those could be like a matter of days, a matter of months. It depends on what period we're looking at. But like I can't boil it down to a day because like I haven't had like I don't know, like some of those like super pivotal like things that people tend to like fall back on, like the birth of a child, like, a marriage, like things like that.
Life has changed now.
Yeah. I don't know. Like so many of like the amazing things that have happened in my life took time and were like a process that like. It's more of
there was a day I finally, it all kind of clicked.
Kinda sunk in. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know we did break 2 hours, which is fine, but
we do what we want.
Yes, we do. But announcements, I guess, for stuff coming up this week. Like, did you want to say your thing?
I'm doing a stream on Sunday.
I mean, I'm sure they all already know.
They already know. If they're new,
they simp for you so hard.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a channelversary stream on Sunday, starting at 9 a.m. PST. Technically, it's the day before the channel anniversary, but like I wanted to do it on a weekend. It should be fun. The main focus of it, at least in the beginning, like of course, like I'm gonna open a particular package that I got from my YouTube.
Finally, yes. Oh my God, I was about to ask him like, did you want to do that on like the podcast today? I'm like, no, you'll do it on your stream. No, I'm gonna do it
on the stream because it's kind of running double duty of 100K. Because I never.
You also haven't opened it, right?
No.
Like it was the box itself is still sealed.
It's still sealed. Yeah, I like blacked out everything on it, but like it's still sealed.
Because you did want to do it like with your community.
Yeah. And I was gonna do something for 100K, but then like life does
enough.
what it does. It got busy, so I'm like, this is kind of double duty. So yeah, so I'm gonna be opening that up and sort of like hanging out. The big thing is that like last year on the channel anniversary, we did like a lore trivia game.
I was very bad at it.
Yeah, but it was a big hit. So like I'm doing that again. It's bigger. It's better. It's all based off of stuff that happened in the last year. So
cool.
But yeah, so it should be fun.
How long do you plan on streaming for? Roughly.
Till I'm bored.
Well, yeah, but like a few hours.
4 hours maybe.
Okay. You said starting at 10 a.m. 9 a.m.
9 a.m. PST.
Cool beans.
Because I want to try to like, I almost always start them at like 3 or 4 or 5. So I was like, I want to do one like so like hopefully different time zone people can kind of experience.
It's like kind of like with the podcast, we always try to do it at like 10 because it's like even if it's evening for the people like across the seas.
Yeah, it's in theory it's a broader spectrum of people will get to experience.
Looking for views, hunty.
I'm here for active participants.
As you fucking should be.
Yeah. With the game, I think it tends to work better if you have like 2 screens is the only thing. So like, cause like, I mean, it depends on how you are, but like a lot of people were saying that like, that's how they preferred playing it at the time was because that way they can like see me and the chat and everything on one, but have like the game itself. Cause it's a web game.
Okay. So like kind of like if you're watching it like on your computer on a screen, like put the stream up and then
do the trivia on your phone or whatever. Like, so if you're that kind of person,
or if you have multiple monitors,
yeah. So it's like if you're that kind of person where like you like kind of like having all of that at once, like maybe have 2 screens of some form ready. But like we're just chilling, playing trivia, hanging out, catching up. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it'll be good fun. I'm glad. It'll be cool. I myself, I don't have an exact date and time this weekend because I was told that I couldn't do the time that I wanted to.
Not by me,
by management, but not
me.
Sin immediately put the kibosh on it.
Rudy called.
Rudy. And he's being investigated. And Rudy said, Odie, I need a favor. And I'm like, absolutely not.
I'm not affiliated.
He's like, are you going to be streaming on Saturday or on Sunday at this time? I'm going to be like, not anymore. You got it, dude. My stream community, we, as a joke, I put something on my throne, which was the worst decision to make because it turns out FAFO.
People like jokes.
You know FAFO, right?
No.
Fuck around and find out.
Oh, yes.
And FAFO it is. So we'll be playing Cyberpunk 2077. I think I'm going to do it on Saturday. And I'm debating on whether or not of doing like a subathon incentive to like, you know, based on whatever, like have certain goals and like things like extend the stream because it is a Cyber Kitty lingerie outfit that the thin piece that would cup me, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could tuck my balls and have them fit in this.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely going to have to be wearing like my long like compression shorts or something underneath, which like I normally do like when I wear my slorts on stream because I'm like those my balls do hang out of.
Yeah.
If it's hot. But which like this all seems really gross and crass, but like no, this is very, very earnest and logistical.
When I was in my Harley Quinn outfit, it was a fight to keep the cash and prizes.
Mad respect to our drag queens.
Oh yeah, well, because I wasn't gonna tuck. I was just
Uh-huh.
mashing it all in there.
Oh yeah.
Which is where the problem came in was because then like
it's mashed.
They like the boys were trying to get out.
You mashed them while you were standing up, forgetting that you were going to be needing to sit down.
Well, and then I practically
Gave
my equipment a mammogram when I tried to sit down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was unpleasant.
Yeah. That was a fun stream though.
It was fun.
Our podcast.
It was both. We did a podcast and a stream where I was dressed up as Harley, and it was both of them were fun.
Wait, we did that on stream too? Oh, that's right.
For Halloween.
That's
on
right.
Halloween, we played Phasmo.
That's right.
While I was dressed as Harley Quinn. That was the one where I can't even remember the name.
I was in my Sarah Johnson.
Sarah Johnson, are you here?
There?
Oh, just pissed her off. She killed.
Was that? I'm pretty sure that was like I was in costume too, but like
but
I wasn't
No
the
Face.
Joker. I was in my like green screen suit
Yes.
with like the cloak and like
Yes.
I it looked like I just did whiteface. Like, and then I was like, I want to go see the My Hero movie, and like I decided to like scream out of there trying to scrub it off my face, but you could still clearly see everything, and I'm just like, I'm here to see the movie, and they're just like, okay, and it was me and 3 other people. I liked it though. So yeah, so that's coming up. That'll be on my channel more than likely Saturday, or if it is Sunday, it'll be a little later in the day. But I will be doing that this weekend. It was a community goal that they channel points and stuff. So, and if you like my stuff, come check out my stream. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Arizona time. I can never remember if it's PST, MST. Everything changes, but Arizona doesn't.
We're PST right
We're
now.
PST, so 6 p.m. PST. Typically is the average start time. Sometimes I stream a little bit earlier, but I always go, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that's it for like this week in terms of plugging stuff. I gotta put together some good stuff. I came up with an idea for my birthday because last year I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we were joking around last night on stream, and I was like, you know what I want for my birthday stream? I want everyone to send me a picture of their mom, and I'm going to do a smash or pass tier list of the community's moms because they've pissed me off enough times. Come to my chat to bully me, or I bully you. Your choice.
Okay.
It's a vibe. It's not going to happen, but it was very.
That's a choice.
It was very fun to bust that out, and everyone and immediately can sense how threatened chat felt. Snake did send me his grandma. It was a smash, but like a very kind. Yeah. Well, yeah, like it was just very. It was like, no, like she seems like she'd be nice. And yeah.
See, I'll raise you though. Why do a smash or pass when you could do a tier list?
That's
the
true.
mom tier list.
The mom tier. That's true. Like, who is the most bangable mom? And I could make a shirt that I would then send to the person that said, you know, I went to Odie's mom ranking stream, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt. Also, my mom's hot. Pretty cool. I'm just saying, like, if you got hot moms, you shouldn't be hiding them from me. Parents love me. because they know that their children aren't going to be long term with me, but I'm a delight in that window.
Yeah.
I love Hewll Yeah podcast. All right, you guys have a good week. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. I didn't realize.
Bye.